Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! Rob Van Dam! I'm Rob Van Dam. The whole show.
From Battle Creek, Michigan, weighing 230 pounds,
Rob Van Dam.
Damn.
Flex. Where'd you get 230 pounds anyway? I know. I don't want to make this guy look small.
You know what it was, Rob?
That out now that I think about it.
I put it through AI. Howard Finkel's voice, because it was like kind of clouded by noise outside of it. And instead of saying like 235 pounds, it said 230 pounds. And so that's what happened. You blame my AI for that one.
You know what? I remember too, it was right after bodybuilding show too, where I was shredded, super jacked. But even then, I think my shoot weight at that time, because I was post competition, was like 235. That would say that. And it's like the ring announcer billed me as like 215 or 212. And I'm like, I look and go, what? You cut my weight? I'm like, gotta build it. You cut it. Oh, come on.
Can't be doing that. What the heck?
I was like, fire her. She never worked again.
If you haven't noticed yet, special guest this week, Mr. Brian Cage.
Yeah, Brian.
I came over here just to, be the what was the name? The Cousin Cage. Cuddling Cage over here.
Cousin Cage.
Yeah. You can see there's a conscious baby in my 21-inch bicep right now.
Yeah, you are looking jacked, dude.
You know?
Dude.
I mean, first off, when do I look bad, right? But yeah, coming back from injury, that's the biggest. I keep saying too, on different times I've talked to people. That's the, I guess, plus side of coming back from injury. At least for me, it motivates me not only to come back and kick butt in the ring, but also not here. I'm ever in bad shape, but like, okay, let me try to get even better shape now. Just try to overcome the obstacle. So
I'm sure this is going to come across like a Mark question, and I'm okay with that. But do you like work out like 4 hours a day or something?
I mean, sometimes, and I used to do a ridiculous amount of volume, so I would be there longer. I don't do that, but I mean, if I do like on my warm up stuff, my actual workout, cardio, like I don't eat in between two and stay a little bit longer at the gym. Then I'll do a bunch of rehab stuff and dynamic stretching or mobility stuff for my knees and this. So I can be in there for quite a while. Yeah. I don't mind it. If I have time to kill too, I'll just stay in the gym longer.
Yeah, my old program, the 3 T's to success: training, tanning, and toking. That took a couple hours. And
yeah. You went Kyoto with that one.
Yeah.
Brian, how long?
Let me ask a question or two. Do you think like a difference, and besides like everything all day and having a whole dedicated lifestyle, but do you think like one of the differences in the gym between someone like you and someone that doesn't get anywhere near the results, do you think it's the amount of intensity that you go and do you like go to failure like every fucking
for
set?
sure, absolutely. So like when I said I used to do a lot of volume too, especially training by myself, I would. It was probably too much training too, but I would just like go, and I would do so much. And I try to back that down, but the intensity is still there too. And even when I work out with plenty of other people or other wrestlers, they're always like, almost always go, man, shoot, I thought I was working hard. Like,
you're done halfway through.
Yeah, and that's also why I almost never blow up in the ring, because the intensity and like the little to no rest time in between everything I'm doing works for my conditioning, that like I can use that for the ring as well, because I'm not just out there just trying to hypertrophy train like I'm doing a bodybuilding show. I know I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm still an athlete, and I still got to be able to perform in the ring. So
yeah, you're working on your endurance while you're in there pushing yourself through like circuit training and shit.
Yeah. I just go. I mean, even when I'm like resting, I'm like, okay, I'll do a lot of like working rest. So I'm like, okay, I'll do an extra set of like calves or an extra set of abs or something else that's like less intense, but I'm still working the whole time. And then especially after coming back, I'd always do a lot of stair stuff and some HIIT cardio on the stairs. I've been doing the assault bike a lot lately, like HIIT style and assault, and that kicks your butt. I mean, when I'm done on that, I'm huffing and puffing, and I can't drink anything, and I can't breathe like that. That's really been beating me up, but it's been great.
So would you not recommend sitting on the machine playing on your cell phone?
Absolutely not. That's the worst. That is the worst. I'm like, bro, you've been done with your set for 7 minutes. Get off the damn machine. Let's go.
How long do you stretch for, Brian, before working out typically?
Before, like nothing. I'll do rehab stuff or some warm-up stuff, cardio. But stretching before, to me, I don't want to say it's pointless, but like usually stretching can weaken the muscle fibers before you train. It's better to stretch after the fact than before.
That too.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you're also already warmed up, so you're usually more flexible and it's easier to push through. Obviously, you do legs, even though you're more warmed up, you have so much more blood through your legs, so it's hard. It hurts more to kind of stretch. It's a weird back and forth, but especially when I do leg stuff, I'll do more stretching. I've done a lot more leg stretching that just goes along with my rehabilitation process that I've just been sticking with throughout this whole process, just to get the knees, nice and fresh.
Rob, do you recommend that too, stretching afterwards? I never knew that. I was not aware of all that.
Well, I think that it sounds like a good idea, and I think recently we were talking, and I mentioned, I'm not trying to hide the Katie Forbes pillows, but I'm trying to use them. Well, I think we were talking about a story where Shano McMahon, he gave me advice twice that I think was great advice, but I didn't use it one time, was when you do this, you need to decide it's going to either be Rob Van Dam or RVD. You need to choose one or the other. That way the fans will know, and then they'll all say the same thing in unison because they're all over the place. And I thought at the time that was great advice, and I still do, but I just didn't use it. I just thought in my mind, I thought it was too late at that point, and I was like, let them choose. But it sounds like great advice. And I couldn't remember what the other thing was when they were talking about it. But now I remember because of this conversation, and he was telling me that that's great how I stretch like an hour before my matches. But he was telling me I should stretch afterwards too. And I just, thought, yeah, that sounds great, but holy shit, who's got that much time? Because I put everything into my stretch beforehand, and that was like my insurance measure. You know what I mean? Like I felt like
it's funny too, because I actually agree. I would prefer to, maybe this is back asswards, but I would prefer to stretch before a match, but I would definitely stretch more after a workout than before a workout. And I don't know why that makes sense in my head. And I feel like there's more like ballistic stretching too, static stretching before a match as well. But I would do both. But it's more of just after the fact. I think too it feels better because you're so pumped up and like restricted movement wise after you train. So I feel like stretching helps decrease the lactic acid and get some more range of motion and flexibility back into your system. Whereas stretching before, I feel like this kind of weaken it. And also if I'm already like warming up, or if I'm doing some rehab or band and stuff and this and that. Like if I threw in stretch, like I just want to get to the workout. So I hate doing all that stuff anyways. I ain't trying to spend 45 minutes before I even start the workout. Plus if my pre-workout's hitting and I'm ready to go, like I want to use that peak energy for like the first, few heavier or more intense compound exercises. And then you trickle down to like the more isolations and this, that, whatever. And that's why I feel like it's easier after I even do cardio. I slam a shake, whatever. Then I can spend more time because now my calories are back at me. I can spend more time doing more stretching or more whatever after the fact.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Great. I gotta
Sounds like a great idea. I can't say from firsthand experience because I didn't do that.
I remember Don was always putting you over at TNA when we were there together. When you'd be back there for
Don?
Callus.
Okay.
For like never really getting hurt because you'd always spend so much time stretching before all the matches.
Well, I got a reputation for that, so whether it's just because I stretched or not, that's how people are going to see it. And I believe that it has a lot to do with it. I think I had good genetics as well. But my stretch routine isn't just a warm-up, it's a workout. So when I'm done with it, I'm sweating.
I remember seeing you were sweating.
Yeah. And then also I would put myself through everything to where I feel like, okay, whatever position they put me in the ring, I've already put myself through it back here on the floor. And it's a body check, you know what I mean? Like, and it gets the circulation going, and then there's all kinds of benefits to it. When I was wrestling like almost every night, then I was stretching for an hour every night. Now that I don't wrestle as much, I don't routinely stretch as much. It's still as important, but I'm not like the same at the same point where I was.
Do you feel like it's harder to stretch now then?
Fuck yeah! and now I understand why the other boys didn't want to stretch, because when it hurts,
it does.
Yeah,
there's a couple banded stretches I'll do at the end of the workout too. That I'm sitting there and I'm grunting and making sounds like I can kill myself, and I'm just stretching. I'm like, oh, bro, and sometimes I feel like it looks stupid because I'm like crazy selling it, and I go, he's just stretching. He's not even working out but it doesn't feel good.
Right. So I used to be able to just bring my foot up to my face, and I just took that for granted because I would do it every day and hold it up there, and people would be like, man, I got to start stretching with you, Rob. But they would just pull on it, and it would hurt, and then they would like not come back again. And I'm like, well, I'm here every day, whatever. But now I get that, because it used to be like such a high, just going through every, full out split with my groin touching the floor on my stomach, and I remember doing that one time before Johnny Morrison match, and some girl wrestlers went by and said goals, and I was like, wow, man, that's a girl saying that, and it was just like at that point, I felt like I was I was very limber, but everyone thinks I was made of rubber. Secret, I really wasn't made of rubber, but I stretched a lot, so I definitely had the top level elasticity that you can have in your muscles and joints and everything. And man, when you don't do it as often as it hurts, it's like some of it's bone on bone. You don't have.
What I feel like even more impressive too is how deceptively big you are because of like how flexible in your style of wrestling. I feel like automatically people feel like you'd be smaller than you are. And then I remember like I first met you two was at a PWG show. Like Kurt Russell Mania, okay. And I remember I was like, holy crap, he's ginormous. I was like, but yeah, you would just think, oh, okay, like not that you'd be small, but you were way bigger, especially compared to like the average.
I used to get that all the time.
So I was like, holy crap. Well, it's funny too because I feel like because of my muscularity and my presence in the ring, everybody always thinks I'm bigger, at least height wise. Yes, I know. Yeah. And they're like, oh man, you're not that tall. I was like, well, sorry, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Like, and then even when people, I just said this other too. Then even people try to dominate and call me like short, like, oh man, you're like 5 feet tall, especially with like the bodybuilder physiques. A lot of the bodybuilders are short. Yeah. I go, well, if I'm only 5 feet tall, then how tall is everybody else that I'm taller than? Because that's you got to think about that. I was like, you're just burying them big time. So what are they, 4'2"? Like, come on.
Yeah, that's an ugly thing. How the ego takes over, and some guys are like, well, I'm taller than you, or I'm bigger than you, like, because you know what they mean behind that,
Yeah, of course.
Is they're like, I'm more of a man than I thought I was, like, get out of here with that stupid shit.
You know what? Oh my gosh, maybe this might make you look bad, or whatever. So it's funny if they were talking about that because it was actually at the show that I worked you at in Battle Creek.
I was just thinking about that show.
So when we were doing the meet and greet beforehand, right? There's this, big heavy set guy. And he's waiting, and he comes in, and I stand up, and he goes, oh, wow, man, you're not very tall. I am taller than you, whatever. And he's like an inch taller than me. So it's like, and I go, hey, man. I go, you know what? I think last time I stayed in line for an hour waiting to meet someone that I paid to take a picture with, the first thing I thought of was to say something rude to them, too. And he kind of looked at me like confused, and then his son was like, come on, Dad. I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, come on, dude. I was like,
I'm Battle Creek look bad, bro.
Right. I go, do you think, that's like if I walk up to you, she'll be like, oh, hey, man, wow, you're a fat piece of shit. I go, no. I go, that would be true, right? You take offense to that. He's like, oh, sorry, man, my bad. But it's funny, too, even Taz is the one that first said that as well. He goes, I think a lot of people, talk about being shorter wrestlers. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people feel like you're short because they feel like you're so much taller because of just how you look and you're built and your position in the ring. So they think you're like 6'5", and you're like, oh yeah, sorry,
larger in my life. Yeah. Fuck yeah. I was thinking of the Battle Creek show because we were talking about stretching and shit. And I was actually thinking, I always remember my fuck ups more than anything else. And I just remember I went to do the split leg moonsault.
Yep.
And my foot hit the rope and didn't go over it. And then I was like, fuck, that's real close to killing yourself and landing on your neck.
Well, but even I remember because I asked if you could do Rolling Thunder into the split-legged moonsault. You're like, I've never done it before. So I kind of felt like it was my fault asking. But, I mean, looking back, it wasn't even because you couldn't do it. It was because the ropes.
But that's what everyone
Everyone
says that, but in my mind,
for sure.
I'm like around that time, it was when it started getting harder for me to stretch, and my flexibility wasn't always there. Like you stretch 4 or 5 times a week, if you skip a day or even 2, or at least me, if I went back to it, like boom, I'm right back where I was. But you skip a few weeks or whatever, and you do that consistently, and especially when you're injured, like when I blew my heels and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
It's not like I can't just go like fall like right back into it, and it sucks. But I remember like around that time feeling, my hips were, like I'm saying, it just the range wasn't just there for me to take for granted anymore.
Sure.
What was that, 2019 or?
What, the Battle Creek match?
Was it not that long ago?
No, it wasn't. It was
you know, maybe?
I think it was 23.
Oh shit.
I feel like it was 23.
The Battle
So
Creek.
long ago.
Battle in the Creek.
Yeah.
3.
Oh, that was like 3 because we were doing the podcast at that point. I remember. Might have
And it was
been.
my idea for y'all's match.
Yeah.
But so you're saying what year?
I would say either 23 or 20. I would say 24, 20. Yeah, 24. I
It
would
was
say.
before COVID, guys. I think.
No, it was after COVID. It was 24. It was 23. I was like, it could be 22, but I'm pretty sure it was 23. I know it was. I know it's September because I know I had to fly to Seattle for AEW pay-per-view the next day. So
Okay.
But I was gonna say, oh no. Maybe you could have got your leg up there if you were more flexible. But like, no, the ropes were so loose, so you're trying to post to like push yourself up. It was just giving way. So like, that's what I was like. I can see why it's so hard because there's nothing resisting you to be able to get yourself up there.
That's that. Fuck, I'll do a leg drop.
Yeah. I remember too because like you tried it and the fans were like, they like chant you fucked up. They're like, come on, you can do it. And then you did it again. And you missed it again. You're like, fuck it. You did like that little twisty leg drop. Yeah.
How often do you guys, when you do like an indie show or something like that, is it common practice for both of you guys to maybe go test out the ring, get a feel for how it is?
I almost never do. I mean, I don't know the last time I did. And that's probably a big mistake, especially with the indie ring, because you don't know what you're getting into. That's actually how I tore my bicep as well. I even made a reference to an interview that same night when like I was in this big like hardcore match with Asada. And I go, you almost never get injured in like hardcore, like, weapons matches, whatever. I go, if anything, you're more likely to get hurt in a ring that sucks. And I go, this ring looks a little indifferent and the ropes are so bad. That's what I actually tore my bicep on. When I got thrown through the middle onto a trash can. And as I went to grab the rope and base on the apron, the rope just like same thing. Like there was no resistance. So it just gave away. So instinctively, I held onto it and I missed the apron. And I'm just holding the air. So it was just my body weight for my arm. And it just snapped my arm like that. And there went my bicep. And then I worked him the next day, or tried to. Tried to the other, anyways.
It was September 30th, 2023.
Okay.
23. Okay.
You were saying before the pandemic.
Right? Yeah, you can't see it because of the beard I have. But I have a sweet little cleft flip too from the Daminator because I couldn't hold the chair with my left arm. So when he kicked it, it came out of my hand, and the chair spun, and the leg of the chair hit my lip and just ripped it. But it made it look great when you Terminated me. And I was bleeding everywhere when you're holding the chair.
Yeah.
And then you got knocked out too.
That was in Texas for TNA.
Yeah.
I held the chair.
That was one of 2 times that we had our third partner, Jennifer, with us.
Yeah, Jennifer was
Yes.
distracted.
She held you down.
Yeah, and then Dogga, because it was like a makeshift.
You.
It was a makeshift match, and then the Dogga came out. You guys wrestled, and I remember too when people say like, I felt like my bicep wasn't fully torn. Because it hurt. Because usually when you tear something completely, it doesn't hurt that much afterwards because it's gone. The nerves are gone. And I remember like you arm wringered my arm and threw it to the post. When you took my arm out and stretched it, I remember I was like, wow! It hurt so bad. I was like, oh, that's. If it wasn't fully full, maybe now.
Oh yeah, and I jumped off the apron
Yeah.
and accented you, and that's where you busted your lip on the gate.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yeah,
Not the Daminator.
No, because I already had a busted lip over here.
Oh, okay.
Like I had scanned for busted lip, but no, right here. That was the chair, just because. But that was my fault, just because I couldn't hold it. It just kicked out of my hands because I had no strength in my
2
grip.
things I remember about the match. One of them, you had me up here, and you sort of spun me around. Bam, your knee fucking hit connected with my head.
I remember that was
Fucking
rough.
I blacked out from it. Like,
Oh my God.
not like I had a concussion from it. And he's like, why'd you do that to yourself? Oh, I just spilled my coffee.
You know,
Oh my God.
you can tell too when you actually you catch someone. You're like I remember it hurt my knee. I was like, oh, that was a little rough.
Oh, that was a bad one.
And but what was the other thing was afterwards, he had that split, and me and wasn't it Tommy Dreamer were trying to tell you,
Oh yeah,
you could just super glue, don't bother getting stitches, and he was like really on the fence about it, and you know he was wanting to get stitches because he didn't want to get a scar, and people are afraid of the super glue idea. They think it sounds like really.
You had me sold the super glue. I'm like, all right, I'll do super glue. No, but in front of Dreamer was the one that I was actually talking me into just going to get stitches instead. Because he was like, yeah, you could. He's like, man, I don't know. I think I just go get stitches. And I remember like, and these he put quite a few stitches in there too, because it was like, it wasn't just like gash slip. It was like split through. That's why I have like a little. I don't have hair. And it looks like a little cleft lip now a little bit.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have a scar if you would have super glued it.
See. We just put the glue on Skylar's ear from cutting it open in Legoland.
Poor baby.
Yeah.
Ryan, how are you feeling after like the injury recovery and stuff? I saw that you're making your return coming back here.
Yeah. I feel great. I've been cleared for a little while. I'm not 100% as far as performance space. Like what I mean, like obviously I'm not lifting as much weight on my like on my leg lifts, and I'm not jumping just as high just yet. But I mean, I can do everything. I've been in the ring several times, training, practicing. I'm doing all kinds of different dynamic jumping stuff on my off days of the gym. I just train legs today. I can train fine, so I'm feeling good and excited. Have been waiting to come back. I got 3 matches on the same day in Mania weekend, and then yes, I have.
Wow, 3 in the same day.
Yeah,
3
I know.
different shows.
Yes. It just worked out that way. So then Warrior, everything's the Warrior shows, the first shows, but I have a couple of Warrior shows coming up, a couple more in April and May. Actually, I just won this Battle Royal Saturday, which is a year basically after I tore my quad, and the person I eliminated in the finals was Chris Masters, which is the guy that tore my quad. So that
Full circle.
came back and finished the match.
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that? Was that the longest you've ever been out, Brian? That injury?
Absolutely. Because when I tore my bicep, we were talking about, that was like, I got cleared, but then they wanted me to stay out until I debuted at Double or Nothing because I'd signed with AEW. But that was like a few months or so. You know, like if I was in the Indies, I would have probably came back to work after a few months. But yeah, this was so. I mean, the quad would have had me out for probably 9 months anyways, and then I chose to get this right knee surgery and get a special like replacement on it, and then that's actually what kept me out longer because. Long story short, they botched it, and then I had to I should have came back in November, and then I had to go back in under the knife in November, and then now I'm cleared from that last surgery. So that was when I found that out in October, I was pretty freaking devastated. I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" So because like the whole point of getting the one done, I got it in June on my right knee was so like when November came around, I didn't have to go get surgery again. I could just be good to go instead of coming back and still having problems with my right knee and wanting to take time off to get that operated on. So I was like, "All right, I'll just be proactive and 2 birds, 1 stone." And then November came around and I had to get surgery again anyway. So I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So and then I went out to I actually stayed with Crowbar for basically a whole month. He does his own physical therapy, and
Shout out to Crowbar.
yes, dude, he's the man. I actually just saw him recently. I was at Mike Verna's wedding in New York, and I stayed with him and talked to him. But he set me up. His downstairs basement.
Awesome.
He converted to like a 1-bedroom apartment essentially. So I just stayed there, and then we went and rehab twice a day, 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I mean, he helped me out tremendously. I mean, just that first week there, we improved my range of motion, like my flexion of my knee by 30 degrees, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
See the red light therapy dude in Summerlin?
Yeah. Dr. John Fitzgerald. I just saw him the other day for my neck. And I go to this place here locally, Project Wellbeing, which is amazing. I'm a big therapy whore. I've got a lot of therapists. Even there's the top trainers in AEW. They'll call me when they're like for a wrestler, like in Michigan or New York, wherever the case. Like, hey, do you know good this or that? Because these feel like Brian knows where all the good gyms are and where all the good therapists are everywhere. Those are my. if I'm not in the ring, that's usually what I'm doing is getting therapy or working out. So
that's great. I tell you what, Brian, I've seen you like wrestle on several different promotions and stuff outside of AEW before all that stuff. I remember seeing you. It was WrestleMania weekend in New Orleans. It was. You might have wrestled MJF, or you wrestled somebody on that card. It was for. Shoot, I can't remember, but the venue was really, really good. And you guys stole the show. I think it was you and Austin Aries, maybe, actually. Now that I think about it.
That was House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore. That's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right now, Aries is, I'll tell you right now, the biggest pain in the ass to put him at. He's phenomenal. Phenomenal in the ring. He should be so much better. He's kind of his own worst enemy. Phenomenal in the ring. Oh, my gosh. Such a pain in the ass to put a match together with, though. Luckily, I think that might have been the easiest match we had put together. And I was actually at Ring of Honor with him. And then I drove back with him to the House of Hardcore show that night too. So maybe that made it easier to put the match together. But yeah, no, I remember having really good matches with him. But yeah, that night, that was the WrestleCon building where they had all the shows. Because I did the Super Show there, did Impact vs. Lucha Underground there. There's something else. A Wrestle Room Revolver was there. Several shows. Yeah, it was a cool little venue too. I like that place. Rob, is there anybody that was very difficult for you to work with like that? That was like so hard to put a match together with?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
it happens sometimes, man. You know what I mean? A story that pops into my head one time was we were in Ireland for the fuck are they called?
ICW?
No, I almost said that, but no, it's AWR and American Wrestling Rampage. Anyway, and while we were over there one night, I had Raven, and I don't know why, if it was because I was potatoing people, because sometimes that happens, or if he didn't feel like doing much that night or whatever, but I had some ideas I thought of that I wanted to do, and I went up to him in the daytime to talk to him, and I was like, hey, he goes, yeah, it's me and you tonight. And he's like, yeah, and he goes, you know what? He goes, let's just like call it out in the ring, like boom, roll thunder, what to do. I was like, actually, like I had some, I was thinking I had some ideas on it. He's like, let's just do it out there. Boom, it's super easy. Boom, roll thunder. 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, but I'm telling you, I was giving it some thought. And he said he cut me off like one more time, and I instantly got hot, and which is rare for me, But I got hot, and I said, "Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, let's just call it in the ring." And I walked off, and then it's like, "Wait, Rob, no, fuck it, let's just call it in the ring." And he's like, "Wait, no, fuck it, we'll call it in the ring." And I was stormed off, and I was smoking and stuff, and he tried to talk to me a few times, during the day, and I wouldn't talk to him. I just kept saying, "No, fuck it, dude. I don't want to." Easy, dude. I'll see you in the ring. And I kept saying that. And we had our match. And, it wasn't, I don't really remember that much about the match, what happened. I'm sure we were both veterans, and I'm sure the match was fine. And I'm sure I did hit the Rolling Thunder, but I'm sure I did whatever the fuck I wanted to do. I'm sure, as Brian would say, I got my shit in. And what I do remember, though, is that after that, Raven always says that proves, if I don't smoke, that I am a different person, because I didn't smoke that day for whatever reason, and he knew that, and I did flip and get hot at him, which is very rare for me to let go of that monster.
Wait, was he saying that as in like you performed better or worse without being high?
It wasn't about the performing, and I think I had smoked by the time I had my match.
Gotcha.
But he was saying
because
I was mad at him in the daytime, and every time he'd come up to talk to me and say, "Wait, Rob, what were you gonna say earlier?" I mean, forget it, dude, forget it.
There's
like, we'll talk. I'll see you in the ring.
Because there's some people that just can't remember spots at all. So I feel like that's why they want to call it all in the ring. Actually, one guy too, I don't even remember what his name was, but in developmental when I was there with WWE. that was the reason. But then also he wasn't able to call it in the ring though either. So I'm like, that doesn't work for you. And then also feel like there's people who don't want to call spots or talk about it because they're just being lazy. Like they just don't want to put any work in. Like whatever, let's just call it there because I don't want to do anything. That story though made me think of when I remember when I was getting real pushed to the top heel in AAA. So I was feuding with Del Rio, who was mega hot, especially in AAA. Like I feel like that was the peak of his career. And we had it was, and I get it too. It was so over. We didn't have to do much because everyone super hated me. Everyone super loved him. But I'm also like, I'm younger. I'm still newer there. There's huge arenas. I want to get my shit in. So he's like, hey, Migo, I think all we need to do out there is just go fight Migo. That's it. Unless, unless you want to do something, you have any ideas? And I go, well, yeah, on the plane ride down to Mexico City, I'm thinking of all these different spots. I'm like, we can do this and this and this. You can duck that. Maybe I do the pump of X Factor. I'll go to whatever, name all these spots. And I'm talking. And he goes, okay, yeah. He goes, yeah, I think it's better we just fight. I think we just fight. So I go, okay, I guess we'll just fight. And I get it too. Like in our big main event match, we did a bunch of cool stuff, and then it worked out. But like all these matches building up to it, because it was so over, I could tell he just wanted to take it easy. Like, oh, we can just get a great reaction by brawling around the outside and brawling through the crowd and coming back in and doing one or two things to get to the finish. Yeah. But yeah, it was so funny. He's like, oh no, tell me what you want to do. So he's like, oh, let's do this, and this. He goes, yeah, no, we're not gonna do any of that. Let's just fight. Okay.
You know what? Let's just fight. All right, today we're excited to introduce a new sponsor to the show, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years and have recovered over $30 billion for their clients. Not only are they one of our new sponsors, but they are also the official law firm partner of WWE. So, what I love most about Morgan & Morgan is that they are truly for the people. Today, they're coming in hot too, and we want to hook one of our lucky customers up with 2 tickets to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas this April 18th and 19th. That's right. They want to send one of you to Las Vegas to watch WrestleMania 42 live. In addition to the 2 tickets to WrestleMania, they will also be giving this lucky winner $2,000 to help cover the travel expenses to Las Vegas. So get ready for that. So to enter, all you have to do is text HEAT42 to For the People. That's HEAT42 to 484-373-6753 and follow the prompts. Don't miss out on your chance to watch WrestleMania 42 live. Just text HEAT42 for the people. Disclaimer, no purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 48 contiguous United States and DC who are 18 plus. Sweepstakes ends March 29th, 2026. This is a paid advertisement.
Even though that stuff's easier too, I never like that kind of stuff because like putting more pressure on myself gets you more nervous. The nervousness kind of gets more of adrenaline pumping. So if there's nothing to be stressed about or like anxious about, then I feel like there's no adrenaline switch. Then I feel like I'm so Brian Button, I'm not Brian Cage then. And I also feel like weirdly enough, I'm more likely to get hurt, not like an injury, but like just more of a bigger boo-boo because like that adrenaline switch isn't on. So I feel like you're not hyped up about the match because it's so easy. So it's like, oh, what's so stressed about? We're just gonna go and kick and punch and just take it easy. Which it's almost like to relate in the real world. I remember this job I got at this sporting goods store that I really wanted to work at. I thought it'd be so great because it was so easy, but it was so horrible because it was so easy. It was so monotonous and so boring and took so long for a shift to end because it was too easy. So in that same regard, I feel like if a match is like too easy and there's nothing to really stress about or think about, it almost like it just makes you like, yeah, whatever, and kind of just go through the motions, which I want that switch to flip, to turn into Brian Cage.
So that's a really interesting perspective. Would you say that you like the pre-performance nerves?
Oh, for sure. Like it's almost like it's a stress, but it's almost like a comforting stress. I don't know. Because again, without it, I feel like I'm not the same person. Like just like he said, you weren't the same person. I know it wasn't about your performance, but like not smoking, I feel like when I feel like
Raven said I wasn't the same person.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. But I said like how you said that he said.
Okay.
But yeah, without those pre-performance nerves, I feel like some of my worst performances have been when I don't have that because it's like almost too easy of a situation where it's like a night off. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just don't do well under that. I need the stress to perform.
Gotcha.
The stakes are higher. The stakes feel higher when you have something that you want to.
It's just like even in college, I would wait till the last second to do all my different papers or whatever else, and then And then I just went straight up because it's go time. You're under pressure. You got 8 hours to do this paper now. You should have been working on it for 2 weeks. Like,
Right. Right. We got some super chats in here. Maddie Marijuana, new Van Dam fam, 5 names RVD would bring to WWE and +5 in WWE. To bring to WWE +5. I don't know what he means.
is that some Steiner math? What is that?
That is Stoner math. Stoner math for Maddie.
I don't have a name that one. I don't know how.
Tony the Tiger.
Okay, I like that. They're great.
Mighty Matt Mello.
I like that.
Drop kicking Dom.
Drop kicking.
All right, kick it dog.
And Heavyweight Heather.
Oh, that's my favorite. Yes,
That's a pretty good one.
she's a doll. Heavyweight head. Villain, he's a big fan of you, Brian. He says it must be tough being the third in line of the Cage brothers, Johnny, Christian, and then Brian. How does it feel to be the runt to get all the talent?
What was the last part?
He says, how does it feel for the runt to get all the talent?
I mean, it's hard sometimes, you know. What can I say? You know what? That's actually I hadn't really thought about that. That is a pretty good little list of cages. Funny enough, though, everyone thinks I got my name from Johnny Cage. I actually got it from Luke Cage when I was in high school. So my backyard wrestling name was Rage, which sucked. And I took all my Marvel cards and I took a combination of like real names and superhero names, and I made a list of 25, then 10, then 3. I don't remember any of them, but I remember like Brian Cage I kept going with, and I go, that's such a simple and easy one. And I didn't like it at first because it had my real name in it, so I didn't really feel like it was that like creative. But the more I kept saying, I go, but it's kind of a cool name that sounds real, but it's like not like a cool enough name to be a wrestling name. I go, you know what? I dig it. I like that. And then I made a Brian Cage wrestling shirt in printmaking in the senior year to solidify that would what my name would be. But yeah, everyone always relates it because I was before Christian Cage. And everyone thought it was Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat, but technically it was from Luke Cage.
Did you have some names that you worked under before Brian Cage?
Nope. I mean, the other name I worked under afterwards when I got signed development, I had to change it to Chris Logan because they wouldn't let me be Brian Cage. And I tried to do Logan Cage, which is a funny story there because my son's name is Logan Cage, but that was chosen by Melissa. I'm in my room and she comes in. She goes, "Hey, how about the name Logan?" I looked at her funny because of Wolverine, obviously, which is what the name Logan was for. And I go, "Are you serious?" She goes, "Well, yeah, because isn't that Wolverine's real name?" I go, "Yeah, that's why I was like kind of wondering, are you being serious?" She goes, "Yeah." I was looking at that. I thought it'd be cool if the middle name was Cage, because my older son's middle name is also Cage. And then I go, well, what's crazy about that is that's what what I wanted my WWE name to be, was Logan Cage. But because of Cage being intellectual property of me still, they said no. So then I changed it to Chris Logan, Chris for Kanyon, and then, which I spelled it with a K for that reason, and then Logan obviously still for Wolverine.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, at least the name I made, rather than just like, you know, John Arbuckle for no reason or whatever, even though it's Scarfield's owner, but still.
Yeah, I'm like 98% sure I've told you this story before, but I want to rehash it for the good people of the internet, the interweb out there. And so 100 years ago, when I did like my first tours of USWA, which that in South Atlantic in 91 were like my first TVs. Afterwards, Machine Gun Mike Kelly, who was,
Oh, wow.
well, not the same dude, but there was actually an outlaw cowboy named that. They both stole that from him.
So Machine Gun Kelly, the rapper, stole it from the wrestler?
From like a cowboy.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But the rest, they both stole from the cowboy.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
And Mike Kelly and El Snow were partners. When I started out, I worked with them a lot. And Mike Kelly said, you know, this was before the interweb. And Mike Kelly said, you should send in a letter to Dave Meltzer, for the Wrestling Observer, which back then it was like we weren't allowed to have it in the dressing room, and we were kind of shamed for looking at it, but we all looked at it on the down low anyway, tried to find our names in it and hoped to read good shit about us because it covered all the territories and shows like everywhere. But anyway, he said you should put out there that you're looking for copies of your TV matches. People will send them to you, and I put that on there with my address. And people are sending VHS tapes. Yeah, it's so
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah, getting shit in the mail from my USWA matches from the summer of '91, and I got this one letter, and it was from this dude, and he said that he wanted to be a wrestler. He said that he was in the Army, and he said that he had a doctor's degree. He had a job as a doctor, and he said. I remember specifically, he said, I want to give up a $60,000 a year job in the medical field to pursue my dream and become a pro wrestler. What are your thoughts, on what's your advice and shit like that? And I don't remember if I ever wrote him back or not.
He's listening right now. He's waiting for the advice still.
Well, here's the thing. Later on in life, after I got to know Chris Kanyon, he told me that was him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Okay, yeah, I thought I might have told you that, but yeah, and I don't know if I wrote him or not, and of course we can't ask him now, but he was like, do you remember getting that? And I was like, fuck yeah, of course I remember that. And obviously he chose, to pursue wrestling and did pretty well with it.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's a physical therapist. Which is also crazy because I said Crowbars, right? And I thought it was funny because when we became friends a while back, and he's offered different help, and he had replaced both his knees and did his own rehab and wrestled again just a few months later, which is insane. But it was funny how they had so many comparisons with how they looked alike, Crowbar and Chris Kanyon, and then they even grew up with similarities, so they kind of have a similar accent, talk the same. And then they both are physical therapists, which I also thought was like crazy. And this whole time, I never knew until I went stayed with him that his real name is Chris as well. I go, wow.
Isn't that wild?
It says it's too much.
And he trained you or inspired you?
Who?
Chris Kanyon.
Kanyon? Oh, no. So he didn't like fully train me, but he definitely helped me, and I did some training under him. And then I was inspired by him. Like even in junior high back at wrestling, like I wanted to do all of his moves whenever we went outside. We'd do moves to each other. And then on the video games, I'd always play his character.
Wait, Chris Kanyon is doing moves with high schoolers?
No. I'm saying I know. There is that. Have you seen that one video where he got their body slamming the guys during spring break? That video is amazing.
I remember that.
Yes, like he's drunk and these kids are drunk off they're college students.
Yeah.
And he's like flexing and body slamming them on the ground. Like he's like doing shoot. Like it's hysterical. And he's killing them on it.
Was that when he had the not Mordecai but whatever
Mortis? No.
Mortis.
This was still like this looked like WWE or almost maybe right after
when
WWE.
you saw him when you were in junior high.
Oh yeah. I mean, first it was Mortis, and then you saw Kanyon, so one and the same. Because it was like
WCW.
Yeah. Because I still was a fan of his Mortis, but obviously I didn't know who he was as Kanyon. But Kanyon even more so because when Kanyon first came and he was doing like the attacking Ravens flock out of nowhere, and he'd do a different move every time. So then I became even a bigger fan of him. Even the way he sold and took the even flow on the stage when he was Mortis that ended his Mortis run. But yeah, I remember I'd do all of his moves. So like that was always that's why I wanted to get my shit into because like for me as a fan, he stood out to me so much because of everything he did. So I wanted to emulate that style because to me that's what resonated with me as a fan. That's what I like so much. Dude, the amount of stuff this guy does and it's different and unique every single time. I know that's so cool. So that's why I always wanted to do my stuff. And I even tried to like make up my own little innovative offense name. And I called myself the multi-move Paragon to kind of simulate him. But then I got to work him. I ran my own shows called Main Event Wrestling in Northern California in Chico. And I got to work him twice there, which is like, especially the first match is still one of my top 3 favorite memories. Not just of my career, but like of my life. It was insane to be able to get to do that. So
awesome.
Cool.
Did you wrestle for big time wrestling in San Jose?
Yeah, it happened like before Kurt died as well. So
is that one of the shows you're doing WrestleMania week?
No, I'm not. I know.
I'm doing that one.
I just saw you. You're against my boys and Ricochet.
Okay.
Get to that either way. Yes, that's why I asked if you do anything else too because I just saw it today posted.
Got you. Wanted to ask you something else about Kanyon. Or no, I guess I just wanted to say I remember meeting him I wrestled him the night that I met him. It was a Greg Price show, and it was in Mount Airy, North Carolina. So if anyone watching says, I think I was at that show, that you're right. Mount Airy is the town that the Andy Griffith show took place in, which
Really?
is Mayberry. Mayberry is really Mount Airy. Yeah. You know that?
Yeah, I was there for my cousin got married there.
Okay.
Down there. Yeah, so I've been down there. It's pretty neat. It's a neat little town. But,
Yeah, that's why I remember meeting Chris and wrestling him, and we were both, high flyers, which was a lot more rare back in the day. So our match would stand out on the card.
Did you work him much at all? Like
Not much.
Did you guys do anything in WWE? Did you guys do one match?
I don't think I worked him at all in WWE. No.
I feel like I remember. Maybe my memory would be better than yours in that regard, but
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to ask you. We're talking about names. If you had to change your name when WWE, took over for ECW, like say for a reason you had to change your name, what would you change your name to if you had to?
Man, when I had to do that in December '92 for WCW, I had Ron Slinker there, the guy that gave me the name, Rob Van Dam, and he on the spot came up with Robbie V, which I really liked because then I could still be Rob Van Dam. Sure. But that's what I was worried about. I didn't want to go to WWE because I thought they would completely change.
It's fine.
She's been a good baby.
Yeah,
she was great.
Bicep was right there. It's like that.
But I was afraid they were going to completely erase my whole past and then make me into some weird character, like Rob Van Burglar, McDonald's burglar, hamburglar, something.
Yeah, I mean, some of the names they almost for certain people too are like, it's rough. And it's like, how can you get over with that name? That's just terrible. And especially if you're already so known for a name, it's like, does more harm than good to change it.
Even like way back, I mean, I got the name Rob Van Dam in I think November of '91, and already, like in the next year, I already my ego when I did a few jobs. We were talking about it last week for WWE. One show, and I had 2 matches where I did squash matches.
Yeah.
But my ego was telling me, because the promoters were already telling me at that point, I'm going to be a big star, and you can't be beat on TV working for other people, or you lose your value here, and which doesn't make sense. And you got to be aware of that shit. But even when it just started, I was already like, oh no, I don't want people to recognize me getting beat and squashed as RVD, and so I changed my look. As much as I could, I wore blue trunks and volleyball knee pads and white boxing boots. Had my hair all short and blonde, and
so were like, hey, were you the guy that got lost? No, that wasn't me.
Yeah. Called myself Matt Byrne. So
Matt Byrne.
Yeah.
Wait, so did you wrestle under a name before RVD?
Yes, many. Yep. I was taught. So what Sheik taught me when you start out and Sabu, same thing. They taught me it doesn't matter what they call you, it doesn't matter what they do with you. Just get as much ring time as you can for the first couple of years. Go out there and network, meet as many promoters, but check back with us because we'll tell you if the promoters are shady or not or whatever. And so I was like, all right. And I was the Polish Prince. I was a Flying Tiger. I was Robbie Z.
So did he just give you the name there at the show? You go, you're going to be this.
El Snow called me and Dango the Flying Tigers. And we were like, all right, cool. And then, it was like that. And we didn't.
I guess, too, if you're coming in town just to do jobs as well, I guess it doesn't really hurt you at all.
Well, we weren't doing jobs. No, but just in that one day. See, he killed my reputation already. One day. Two matches one day. One was for Jacques Rougeau and one was with Sid Vicious, but it was a handicap match, so I had to do 2 against one.
The recently inducted Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah. He fits like a motherfucker, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Bringing him up too, as a kid, Psycho Sid and Vader were the only 2 wrestlers that legitimately terrified me. Like, Like as a kid watching, I go, dude, I would never want to wrestle these guys. And then when like my favorites were
Right.
wrestling them, I'd be so terrified for them. Like, oh man,
Monsters.
I don't know. Like, you want to wrestle those guys? Oh, I don't know.
Right, they're both monsters. Yeah.
And they both seem. I know Vader's pretty stiff looking as well, but they both seem very like rough and believable too. At least for me as a kid, I'm like, oh man, I don't wrestle these guys. No way.
Yeah. I've told this story, but probably not to you. But that night when I wrestled him and another guy, Scott Casey or Mike Casey. I read it was Mike Casey recently, but I think it was Scott Casey. But anyway, we had the match with him, and he squashed both of us. Probably pinned us both at the same time. I don't remember, but for me, I was like, don't recognize me, anybody. In the dressing room afterwards, Sid came up to me and he said to him too, separately. He says, "Hey, I just want you to know, like, man, I really appreciate what you did for me out there." And he said, I'm trying to make my way up the card. What I want to do is I want to wrestle Hulk Hogan. And he said, but what you guys made me look like a monster out there. He said, you brought me from here up to here. And I just want you to know, like, man, I really appreciate that, man. You guys did a lot for me, and I want to thank you. And he gave us each $20 and said,
Oh wow!
said, I know this ain't much.
Wow.
It's not much, but hopefully it'll help get you down the road a little bit.
That's pretty legendary.
right. Like, who does that? Who pays the guy that just put him over?
That's insane.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a fan of his, and I had a good experience with him. So
it's funny too. You said that because, especially when we were doing all these squash matches during the pandemic era in Jacksonville, and I mean, I want to have fun matches, right? I want to get my shit in. The best way for me to get my shit in is if the other guy gets their shit in too. So I'm a pretty overly giving person. I feel like I'm too selfless, and that's one of my major critiques I've gotten from a lot of different vets in the past. But that being said, though, when different extras are brought in, whether it be WWE, TNA, AEW, whatever, I understand they want to shine, and if it's not their time to shine and their job is to get said person over, I always tell people this too, is like you can go out there and you can still look impressive by just the way you're bumping and selling. And then too, the more you're putting that guy over and making his moves look awesome, the way you're selling, the way you're bumping, the way you're taking everything, will make everyone want to work with you. And a clear example of that too is I remember Red Velvet. She was just an extra, and everyone wanted to work with her because she was bumping it. She was getting zero offense, but just the way she'd bump and sell, like even to me, she looked like the signed talent because she looked so good, even though she was getting no offense in. And it led to her getting a full-time contract and getting signed. And I remember people would get like boo-boo face when they're like, I get it. We all want to wrestle, compete, and do our stuff. But obviously that's not what you're getting booked for when you're an extra, usually, more often than not. And I try to tell people that, like, that's a great example of that too. Is like you can get over, with the office, with the boys, by just going out there and just bumping and selling and showing how good you are in that regard. Just to relate to Rob's story, like, look, he did such a good job. Sid not only put him over, but gave him $20. That's awesome.
Yeah,
right.
And that's not $20 in 2026, right? So that's a whole different value, $20 bill.
Yeah. I've had many wrestlers tell me that I've taken their finish the best out of everybody. So I take pride with that, but that's something you got to learn to do. Like my first few years, just like a lot of people, they feel like if they're selling that they're looking bad in there or whatever. Yeah. And then eventually I got to a point where it was like, okay, now, we start out, how quick can I get into the heat and start selling, because when you're already over and then sell, and then the people they're behind you, but you got to get them behind you first. If they don't know who the fuck you are, you got a little work to do. But then, yeah, it becomes the part, that I look forward to a lot of times. And the part that you can wing, even if you got to have a little idea of some of the shit that you're going to do. Usually when it comes to selling, you just fucking get thrown around and shit.
And I think that's why I take so much, because especially coming up, I like bumping and selling. I like do more creative bumps and creative sells. And again, too, because that's something also going back to Kanyon. I did a bunch of cool offense, but if you look at the way he would bump and sell certain things, he'd always do amazing jobs. So I never minded it. And I just feel like I kept that style and that mindset as I gained more size. And then when I look back at certain matches too, I'll be like, well, that looks a little silly. Maybe I should be bumping like that for this person. But going to what you said too, bump people's finishers and stuff. I remember when I was in developmental for WWE, I remember when people would try out new finishers or new moves, vast majority of them always wanted to work with me to try to figure something out. Because, oh, no, freaking Logan takes everything so great. He goes up so light for everything. He makes everything look great. So I'm like, all right, yeah, no problem. I don't mind having that reputation. That's a good thing.
Right. Usually guys that are like really big and muscular aren't very flexible. So like you go to pull their arm and they're like, hey, I don't bend that way. But you don't have that.
Yeah, no. I remember even Punk's last match in AEW, he didn't want to give me the go to sleep. And I know he's feuding with Joe, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just going to give you the Kakita clutch." And I go, in my mind too, I'm like, "Listen, if I'm working CM Punk and I'm going under, at least let me mark out and take the go to sleep. Like, come on." And he's like, "Oh no, I think." I go, "Well, then give me the go to sleep, and then give me the choke." And then he kind of like pulls me aside, like, he's like, "Hey," and like, he's like, "Let me be real with you. I just don't think I can pick you up." And I go, "Dude, I get up so light. I'll get up so light." He goes, "I don't know, man." And in my head too. Not to throw shade, but I almost felt like he just thought that I would be like a muscle-bound Ryback, you know what I mean? And just be a heavy, not work. And then I was like, look, pick me up right now. I jumped up and I jumped off for it. And he's like, holy shit.
Shout out to Ryback.
And he's like, holy shit. And then we're in the ring. Even then after when I was working with him, there's 2 times he was put me over in the middle of the match. So I feel like I definitely won him over. And he's like, oh, again, probably just had the misconception that I'm going to, be sandbag him and just not want to, do much or can't do much and not be flexible, not be light, whatever the case. But yeah, and I took to go to sleep just fine. So.
Brian, I think something that I heard Nick Nemeth say this on one of a podcast. I don't know if it was like Briscoe Bradshaw, whatever it was. He mentioned that he takes the moves so well, like, and he sells them very well and everything like that. And a lot of people were saying that could be a detriment to him because it would, like, he would be so good at taking the finishes and losing in regards that it didn't really help him in the grand scheme of things. Would you say like that people say you're too giving sometimes? Do you think that has inhibited some of you a little bit in what you've done in the ring? Like as
I mean, I could see that correlation. And it's funny too, you said it for Ziggler, because even then, like the first thing I think of Ziggler, you don't think of him, hitting a finish. You think of how well he takes everything else, right?
Right, yeah.
And it's so my first thought too is like, I remember I have 3 brothers, but I always had to clean the bathrooms because I cleaned them the best. So like that was like that was a kick in the ass for me because I always had to clean the bathroom. But yeah, I do think it can hurt me a little bit because then I also feel like it maybe destroys the illusion too. If I already come out and I stand out, away from everybody else for how I look, but then I go in and I wrestle as everyone else and I take all this stuff, I do feel like it almost what I've worked so hard to build and to be like, it almost like destroys that illusion then, because like what's the point of me being the machine Brian Cage if I'm gonna go out there and wrestle a 50-50 match with everyone else all the same. And then too also and I go out there because I just want to have this awesome 5-star match, if you will, instead of we can still have a 5-star match but do more of a story and create the size wise, and we can play into it. And I feel like it's easier for me to just go no let's just do a bunch of cool stuff, and just because I want to be overly giving. And that goes back to like, I just want to have that style and that mentality that I had when I first started wrestling when I was, 50 pounds smaller. So I do think if I would have been a little more selfish, a little more stubborn, I don't want to say difficult to work with, but definitely just, I guess protecting myself more, I think it could definitely have gone a different way. But at the same time too, like the same people said I was way too selfless with my bumps, also said I did way too much and I shouldn't do so much aero stuff and I shouldn't do this and I shouldn't do all that. But then I also feel like that's what got me over and stood me apart as well, was because of the style I was wrestling. So I don't know, different flavors of ice creams.
Yeah.
So can we look forward to you being more selfish in the future?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So actually, I'm glad you asked that. So not only like to change my style, right, to come back from injuries, but it's not like I can't still do everything I can do. I'm not like, oh my God. But it's a perfect time after being so gone for so long and come back from injuries. It's a perfect time to, I don't want to say tone down, but definitely change my style. And I've been waiting for this moment anyways, even before I got hurt, to like, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity to start being, hey, no, I can't do that. No, we're not gonna do this. Hey, I want to do this, or you know what I mean, and adapt and change stuff. Especially too because everyone at this point should know what I can and can't do, as far as athleticism wise, and I don't want to do that anymore. And until I finally, people almost forget about it. So then when I at this big match and a special moment at a pay-per-view, wherever else, and I hit this certain dive or moonsault or whatever the case it is, and then see people like, oh shit, he can do that. Like it's almost like they forgot. And then it matters. It means more. So, but yeah, I've already thought of several things of how I want to change when I come back into the ring, mainly on AEW television as well.
So far, I got Brian Cage's back.
Yeah. Like
I can't believe people think that you were too giving just because they saw Tessa Blanchard powerbomb me. Didn't Tessa Blanchard powerbomb me?
She didn't powerbomb me, no, but I put her over. That one always gets the most heat too. Like, it's so funny too, the fact that like it was almost like 2 years later, like after the match I had with Tessa, when Tessa went over on me. And it was, so Brian Cage's career just died. And I go, you know, that match was like over 2 years ago. How does that affect my match? Like, no one even talked about it. Everyone talked about our very first match, which like broke the internet. The first intergender match that I had with Tessa at Wrestle Circus, and that was a phenomenal match. And
isn't that subjective though? If you look at phenomenal, or if one thing is good or bad, if you look at it as being subjective, then isn't anybody calling their own match good or bad coming from just their opinion? Isn't that?
Well, I mean, obviously, yes. So I guess, yeah. So obviously, we biased to say it was phenomenal, but then based on just the amount of views it had at that time and everyone raving about it, and so it's like that's what I think of it. That's what I agree with, and then to see everyone else, in a bit, unfortunately, the original video got taken down. That's been reposted, but I mean, it just really stood out too because also I done a few intergender matches, and funny too, I don't even like intergender matches.
I'm
at
not
all.
a fan,
but I only did them because, especially that time period, they were over. But more so, I wanted to do them just to prove I could wrestle anyone in any style.
Yeah, but okay? Where do you draw the line between that and being Kenny Omega and wrestling 8-year-old girl in Japan?
Oh yeah. So that,
or a blow up doll.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say that, and the blow up doll. Even though I know the blow up doll.
I mean, you gotta admit it's down that way.
Sure. And I know like that's who's DDT, and that's like kind of their style, right? So it's like they're like also too, like the matches I had with Tessa on the Indies is not the match I had with her on TNA, and even more so if we're gonna have a big match and on TV, like I'm gonna be more giving too, also on an independent match because obviously it's on TV, and also the fans are gonna show up there, wanting to see a certain, I feel like, style of wrestling that kind of differentiates. And I am gonna be less protective and more giving on any shows than I would be on TV as well. But yeah, no. I never really bought into the intergender stuff. I know it was just a hype, and I only did it because, like, okay, look, I'm gonna show people, especially for my size, because you would think like, okay, that's not gonna work, but I would make it work and have some really great matches. And it does give you some appreciation. So like, I already thought Tessa was really good in the ring, but then when you wrestle someone, it tells you how good they aren't you, comparison of just being a fan of theirs or watching them in the ring, because you get a firsthand experience. Like, wow, that person's really good for this reason and this reason. But yeah, no, Tessa got a lucky roll up on me. All right, come on, I'm 3-1, 3-1. So
3-1. But that's a great point, Brian. Though, like after that happened, and everything, sure, it got a lot of like buzz on the media and stuff like that, and some people were critical. But like when you got to AEW, that was not really what I was thinking of, or other people were thinking.
No, I said like it was like 2 years later, everyone started bringing it up. So it was almost like for some people to complain about the way that I was being used or thought that I should be being used better in AEW, whatever. That's when I was like, oh, it's better because he lost to Tessa. And I go, so why would this match 2 years ago be affecting my and it's just like it was like it changed anything. Like, I mean, the very next week, my last however many months in Impact, nothing changed, right? And all my matches were great. And like the next year on the like it's just dumb. I just feel like people like need to make an excuse. And also they always quote it wrong too. They think I lost the world title there. And I go, no, I didn't. I lost the world title to Sammy. Then they should beat Sammy for the world title. But nevertheless, I also wrestled Rich Swann right before I lost to her too. So that's also, let's throw in some variables here.
There you go. There's some factors coming into play a little bit.
It's like a video game. My health bar was a little less, right?
Yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah. And it doesn't totally charge up if you're playing like
exactly. I had a match before that roll up wouldn't have worked. I would have kicked out. So.
Yeah. That's it.
And she was my friend. So like, all right, here, let me do you a solid. I'll help you out. So.
Right. I'll take a couple super chats here. A wrestling historian asked this: what if Brian Cage and Rob Van Dam were a tag team?
That'd be awesome.
That would be sweet. What would be the team name?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of too, right? Would it be
I was thinking, can I make the hot tag?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not going to be the one giving and overly, selfless. So I'll be taking on the bumps, take the heat.
Yeah, you'd be giving Rob the hot tag for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like 5-star machines. I don't know, something like that.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. Oh, or the Van Damme machine, the Van Damme, something like that. I think.
I was trying to think of something correlated with high, but
Oh yeah.
Can you think of something, maybe?
Rob Van Cage.
Great.
Rob Van Dam and Brian Cage. So,
That's perfect.
It's a great name.
Perfect.
Whole effing machine.
oh, that's good.
Ooh, I like that.
Technically, the effing machine is actually my moniker. I just don't say effing because they don't want me to.
Yeah.
Because so I came from Excalibur at PWG. He'd always say, Brian Cage is a fucking machine. And then it would be effing machine to censor it.
Oh, the
And
whole
then
effing
TV just changed it to just a machine. So the whole effing machine actually, that's like both of our names, but it's also still like my name. Yeah, that's good.
Yay.
That works.
Yeah, I like
Like Katie in the background over here killing it.
it. Brian, so Rob mentioned he gets asked a lot of the times which promotion that he like wrestling for the best and everything to that effect. And like Rob mentioned before, it was ECW, like he had the most fun doing all that stuff and everything. Is there a certain promotion that you've really had the most fun working for?
Oh, for sure. Definitely Lucha Underground. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I guess I could see like the correlation too of it just being different, like just like ECW. And I remember when I got signed to Lucha Underground, I thought, like, completely honest, I thought it was going to be such a clusterfuck. I thought it was going to be like Wrestling Society acts on MTV. I thought it'd be like a quick little payday. It would be so just a cluster and would blow up and be here today, gone tomorrow. And when I got there, it was so awesome. Like it was so well organized. It was so well. Everyone was treated so well there. We were paid so well. Like because also we got treated like actors, not like professional wrestlers. So it's like we got top tier treatment, and just the matches and the shows. Like didn't matter if you had 4 minutes or 6 minutes or 10 minutes or like the dark match, opening match, main event, like whatever. They're like, hey, just go out there and do whatever you can. Have try to steal the show. Have the match of the night, and then the storylines were so cool. Everything was so original. All the backstage, like cinematic stuff, which I feel like Lucha Underground doesn't get the credit it deserves for all like the cinematic matches that kind of came afterwards. But yeah, it was a great time. It was just so much different, so much fun. My main quote from like that time period on different interviews was always, I didn't feel how I thought it would feel to be a pro wrestler when I was 10 years old and I wanted to be a pro wrestler. It wasn't until Lucha Underground that I felt that feeling. We're like, oh, this is it. Like now I've made it. So yeah, it was a great time. And then also I met my wife, right? So that's a plus too.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely cool. I know, like when Lucha Underground took place, I was like, man, they have something here. This is going to be like a really hot way to kind of get the product like a new kind of reinvention or kind of like a revolution kind of thing. And I was so bummed when it didn't further that momentum.
And even then, I feel like more people liked it too. I mean, obviously didn't have the same reach because instead of it being a wrestling show on TV, it was a TV show about wrestling. So like it could almost be more fake, like I smashed the guy's head in and stepped on his eyeball, and so obviously that wasn't real. But it wasn't presenting itself as real, so it wasn't criticized as real. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I do feel like more people that like weren't a wrestling fan enjoyed it, and I do think if it was on a better network, because just outright didn't have the reach, like say if it was on TNT or TBS or USA or whatever, I feel like it'd still be around today. I feel like that was the biggest thing, and the fact too, like there was just too many chefs in the kitchen, and they all couldn't get on the same boat, and unfortunately, yeah. I would have loved to at least had one more season to have finality to things, but I mean it was great while it lasted. And just to throw out a thank you, independent wise, WSW in Australia, World Series of Wrestling, absolutely the most fun I've ever had in wrestling and the most organized, professionally ran tour I've ever been a part of.
Wow, man! All right.
He was in my India tour. I was just talking about.
Yeah, and how much did I like that India tour?
I don't think you had that much fun.
Every time I make a comment, you're like, "Oh man!" Like it was cool that we were there. It was cool that we were there, right? The crowds were huge.
You see, that's what I was talking
The
about.
crowds were ginormous. Like that part was fun, but like everything else, oh my goodness! And it was talk about people like not phoning it in, but taking it easy. There's a lot of big guys that were kind of having whatever match, and then every night, me and PJ Black not only wrestle, but we open the show and we're out there doing like a mazillion false finishes throughout the gate, and all these guys are like, yo, what the hell? We're just trying to work tackle drop down, no leapfrogs. Like, what's going on? It did spoil it too. The fact that my last day there, I got super sick. I mean, crazy sick. And then, I was shitting and throwing up at the same time like crazy. And then I asked for medicine on the connection in Abu Dhabi. And long story short, I got kicked off the plane and it got stuck in Abu Dhabi. So like, yeah, it was the end of the tour definitely didn't go too well for me. So
Oh man, yeah.
no. So like, so here, so what happened. So like, I'm feeling like shit all that the last day there, and everybody did all this cool fun stuff. I literally went to the lobby to go out and like go to this waterfall and do whatever he's doing, and I just was laying like a dead zombie and I couldn't move. And I remember like the girls like, "Do you want help to your room?" I go, "No, just let me lay here."
Like I'll pick him up.
Yeah. I was like, next time I have to crap, which will be soon. Like, and then the drive to the airport was horrible. I remember I had to stop a few times and just freaking let it loose. And then we get to the airport. I'm miserable. I'm sick. I connect to Abu Dhabi. I feel awful. This stewardess was really nice. I remember she was like trying to help me with my bag and this and that. And I thought she was being really sweet. So I was like, "Hey, it's a weird question, but do you guys have any medicine on board?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, what do you want?" And I go, "I'll take anything. I'll take Dayquil, NyQuil, Pepto-Bismol, ibuprofen. I don't care. Give me anything and everything. I just feel like shit." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll be right back." And then a different stewardess comes and she's like, "Oh, what seems to be the problem?" And I went, "Oh, I don't feel good. This girl's gonna give me medicine, whatever, And this repeats itself several times. I'm getting agitated now because I'm like, I'm so out of it. I'm just trying to go to sleep, and they keep like waking me up. And then the cabin manager comes, and he's very flamboyant too. And he goes, "Excuse me, sir, what's wrong with you?" And I go, and I'm just like agitated as hell now because I've just been asked so many times. I'm trying to repeat myself. And I go, "Dude, the first girl said you guys had medicine. If you do, awesome. If I can have it. If you don't, then leave me the fuck alone." I said it just like that. And he goes, "What? You can't cuss at me. That's it. I'm telling the captain." And he turned around and like ran up, and I'm like, "Oh, great."
Wait, are you in a hotel or
No, airplane.
Oh, okay.
And then
you said the lobby.
Sorry. So that was I was in the lobby like when I was just dead in the hotel lobby, but waiting to leave.
Okay.
So they bring this like I don't know the security or fire marshal. I don't know what it is, some sort of form of authority. And he's talking to me, and he's like, "Hey, if you can come apologize to the cabin manager and make amends and blah 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 blah."
No, fuck yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. So I go because like, I don't want to have to take you off the plane, but you're gonna get kicked off the plane. So I go and I say, "I'm sorry, this and that," and then they try to say they saw me throwing up in the bathroom. I go, "I haven't even left my seat. What are you guys talking about?" Whatever. We go back and forth. I feel like it's all settled down. I sit back on the plane. Then the captain gets back on, and he calls everyone back up to the front. Then we go back up to the front, and he goes, "No." The captain says, "It doesn't matter. He wants you off the plane." So then I get kicked off the planes. I get stuck in Abu Dhabi for like 36 hours. And then even they brought me back on the plane. Like I had escorted through all security and stuff. And then they escorted me on the plane first. I wasn't in handcuffs, but it was like I was a prisoner being transferred. I go, "Yo, I didn't even do anything."
In front of passengers.
Yeah. And like even the guy was like, "Oh, they basically like put you down like basically that I was being rude and intoxicated. Like I was like, threatening." I go, I felt like shit. And I remember even at the hotel, which was a really nice hotel they put me at, thank God. But I would drink a bottle of water, and within minutes, it was coming off the other side. So like it was. So yeah, it was a rough couple days at the end. And I mean, come on, how timely were they? They'd be like, "Hey, be downstairs. We'll pick you up at 2." And like 5 o'clock, we roll around.
They lied. They lied so much, and they like act like a bus trip would be 30 minutes.
Oh, it was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Do you remember how crazy the driving was there too? Like everyone was just honk because like what they were telling us, she was like, if you can afford a car there, you can just drive. So there's like no like license, and people are like on both ways on the same road, like a two-way traffic on one lane, and they would just honk. There's incessant honking because that was like the communication. Yeah. And when we go to all of our hotels were in the middle of nowhere. They would be like, "Oh, we're going to this fancy resort," and it was just like this like crazy hotel like by nothing. It would take so long to get there, and we'd be going around all these like mountains, and there was one lane, and they'd honk like crazy around every turn because another bus would be coming down. And then we're like
playing chicken.
Yes, we're like touching each other and like going like off the road, hanging off the ledge, like trying to cross each other. It was a little sketchy, man. It was a little sketchy.
Wow.
Needless to say, it's a great call he put that on, and he asked me to do it several times afterwards, and I never said yes, especially because he'd be like, "Hey, can we do a show Saturday?" And then stay there for a week and then do another show Saturday. I'm like, "Bro, I'm not staying there for 9 days for 2 shows. You're out of your mind." Like, no way. No way.
When Katie and I first met and started hanging out, she was telling me that she loved going to India. She was a big star there, and I was like, okay, she wanted me to be really impressed, and I was like, I didn't have too good of an experience myself.
And definitely was the coolest thing I did my whole life.
Sure. That was when you first. Hey, I got your first booking outside New Orleans too, right?
Yeah.
I got you on
Brownsville.
Yeah, and you got 2 speeding tickets on the way there too.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because something happened, the flight was canceled. So then last minute, I rented a car and then got 2 speeding tickets because I flew there because that was my first.
Yeah, because you said you're like, yeah, I was so paranoid because I didn't want Luke to get pissed off and miss my first booking, and then since it was you and your friends with Luke, and everyone's like, oh no.
Yeah, I got pulled over twice going there in my rental car because that was the only way for me to make that booking. But then the booking was really cool, and they had a car dealership sponsored it, so I got to ride in the convertible, sit on top.
They're the ones that sold me
race.
my Corvette that's outside in your guys'
Whoa.
Right now. I wrestled a girl that's at WWE, Rochelle. The big one, she's the big one, the tall one that crosses her arms, wears shades right now.
That crosses her arms.
Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel Rodriguez.
She's on the main roster now. She's Spanish. She used to date
Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, her.
Okay.
I wrestled her there. Yeah.
That was
Everybody got sick, by the way, when they were in India.
Yeah. So even on that trip, everyone got
Famous.
sick. I think maybe she was the only one. That's what she
I
liked.
did later on. It was another trip.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got food poisoning.
We did South by Southwest for Lucha Underground right after I got back that Tuesday, and then for catering then Indian food, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me! I got nothing.
Can't escape it.
Wrong pass.
And I usually love Indian food. Funny enough, you said when you guys started dating. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you guys start kind of dating right around WrestleMania in 2016, in Dallas?
Yeah.
Because that's right when Melissa and I first started dating as well, too.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yeah. 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This WrestleMania, or this April.
Technically a couple weeks. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Love was in the air.
Yeah.
Dang.
It worked out. So I remember because I was already friends with you too. And I remember when I was talking to you, and then I remember seeing Rob talk with you guys as well. So I didn't know what was going on, but I remember you guys just hanging out at Point at the convention. But yeah, shortly after that. Did you guys kayfabe your relationship when it first started? So it's so funny how that's, I don't know if you noticed that, but that's such a thing in wrestling. I don't know why.
Oh, right.
Especially within companies, when anyone starts dating, it's always under wraps for, I can't spell quotation fingers.
Yeah.
But it's always under wraps for kayfabe. And even though everyone knows, everyone tries to pretend it's not something, and then X amount of time goes by. And it's oh, we're together. And I was like, yeah, we know. Everyone's known.
And I remember seeing you and Melissa backstage that weekend, too, at one of the wrestling shows.
That's also when she went off on...
Karen Jarrett.
Yes, on Karen Jarrett. That's the big thing that happened there, yes.
Yeah. I love her fiery energy.
Was that when we were at the Shenanigans party, or was that Orlando when we made out to get by everybody?
That was an Orlando Shenanigans party. Okay. And all the fans were waiting outside to take photos with Rob, so we were trying to bust through so we didn't have to stop to take pictures. And then so we just made out and we're made out through the whole crowd.
So it's your guys' teammate.
Yeah. It was so fun.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
How about that? We have a couple super chats. Here's a good one. This is for all of us. Frankie Chorizo asks, any teenage fistfight stories?
Any teenage fistfight stories?
Yes.
I might have gotten several fights too, but the more funny ones actually kind of involve they're not even really fistfights in, but it did involve wrestling moves. I remember this one guy he used to make fun of me all the time for being a wrestling fan in junior high. And I remember I was out there out in the field talking to my friends, and he came with a group of his friends, right? And they're trying to be like bullies, whatever. And he jumped up behind me, I don't know, kicked me or pushed me down, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, whatever. And he's trying to grab me, and I sweep his leg out from under him, and I arch him up, and he goes, oh, they're gonna hump me, whatever. But I'm arching him up to turn him over because I put him with the Boston Crab, and I set that sucker on, and he starts screaming and crying. And like, come on, man, let go. I was like, yes, right, wrestling's not fake, it's real.
Fellas, you already know what time it is. It's time to level up, and Blue Chew just dropped something crazy. I'm talking next level, championship belt, gold-plated energy. One of a kind, if you will. Blue Chew Gold is the newest innovation from the #1 chewable ED brand. This ain't your grandpa's little blue pill. No, no, no. This is the 4-in-1 beast that's setting the gold standard for performance. We're talking 2 ingredients for blood flow to keep that rocket pumping, mixed with apomorphine and oxytocin to turn up the arousal and connection in your brain and body. Blue Chew Gold dissolves under your tongue and works just as little in 15 minutes. That means you can get it on quicker and stay in the game longer. Elevation without hesitation. This is peak passion and peak performance in a single tablet. And we at RVD got a special deal for our listeners. Get 10% off your first month of Blue Chew Gold with code RVD. That's promo code RVD. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And hey, we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
There was this other kid that, and I was actually kind of being the bully in that one though. I remember I took the binder out of his bag, and like we're playing like keep away. Me and another friend from him, and you know whatever. Then he got it back, and we're just like laughing, and then he's like coming after me, and I'm like whoa dodge, and he's throwing like wild haymakers, and I'm like whoa calm down, and then he grabs my shirt. I remember like he hits me once, and then like his other hand comes down like and like he pulls the shirt open like a toy scratches me like Freddy Krueger across the chest, and then instinctively I just kicked him in the stomach, and he bent over, and I just DDT'd the hell out of him right then and there. I put him down. I freaked out because it felt like I broke his neck, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in there." But it was pretty. Those were my 2 favorite ones, just because they're wrestling related. We're like, I put the kid in the Boston Crab, and I ended the kid coming after me with the DDT, shoot DDT.
Dang, that's way to incorporate that early on too.
Right.
Yeah.
What one that reminds me of that? Oops. Yeah, similar. There was this.
Oh, look at the lip, not the lip.
That reminds me of one time, like we used to feud all the time with the kids on the other side of the railroad tracks down the street, and like they didn't have as much money, so we thought it was great to call them poor. And totally. and there was a river. There was the river, and then the railroad tracks. And then, and they lived in several houses like down by there. But anyway, we would use the railroad tracks. We would slide in the winter. We would ride motorcycles in the dirt, snowmobile, whatever. And that was where a lot of shit happened. And I remember one time, what they would do a lot. Sorry, Amber Crumbers. You know, I know we're all adults now. I've seen emails from Eddie, but they would there would be like the edge of a cliff, like we would go way down, and then we would be up on one, and we'd be arguing across with that in between us.
Wow.
And they'd be like really brave when they know they couldn't get us. You know, they'd be like, "We're not going anywhere, you fucking pussy." You know, they go, "Come on." They'd throw rocks at us. I remember one time I got nailed. It hurt so bad. I was trying not to sell it, but I was like, "Oh my god." Freddie got me. And they would talk shit. And of course, by the time we would go to run, then they would try to evade us. They would run back towards their house, and then we would do it again. They'd be like, "We're not going anywhere. We're staying right here," and they wouldn't. So one time we had a plan, and me and Andy like crawled up their side of the hill, and we were hiding there waiting, and we had somebody else draw them out. I can't remember who else was there to talk shit with them. And they're like, "Well, come on over here if you breathe." And then like, boom, we like popped up, and they were like right there and didn't have anywhere to go. And Freddie was on his bike, and they were all kind of frozen looking at us. And I was running towards Freddie because we had it all planned out, and Freddie goes, "What? I didn't do anything." And I jumped over his bike and clotheslined him.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. And I put him down. Boom. And I said, "Oh, you didn't." And I picked him up and pile drived him on the ground.
God.
I know, and I was a bigger kid too.
killed him.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I was a little bit older than them. It was, I wasn't fun.
Gosh,
And then the boom took off running.
There's
We were laughing so hard I was pissing my pants.
I remember there was a thing I moved to where we're all wrestling around, and we were kind of picking on this kid Ricky, and I remember he was like we're all kind of fucking around with each other too. But I remember too, he's like saying this like little turtle ball, so he's like putting his weight down, not wanting to come up. But I don't remember what we were trying to do to him. And then in my head, I was like, "All right, you don't want to work, you don't want to go up light. I'm going to pick you up." But also it was like because everyone was there, and I knew everyone would pop for it. and he's a little bit of a smaller kid. So I picked him up, and I powerbomb, and he still had his backpack on too, which probably helped out. But I powerbomb him, and he just like knocked him out, and he's just like so they're like dying. But everyone's like, "Whoa, you powerbombed him!" Like they say, like the pop I got. That's why then I got in trouble and I got peaked and suspended. But that was the 7th period too, so I was already freaking. I was trying to make up for a failing class, and then I'm out there doing that BS.
Powerbomb kids.
But
the wrestling moves.
That reminds me of that's great footage you've probably seen on Instagram of the bully, the bigger fat kid, and he's getting bullied by this other kid. And
I already know what you're talking about.
He does like that. Boom. I love karma videos like that.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best. Like
you deserved it.
Yeah, those are good ones. Those are good
Hey,
ones.
have you had a problem at all with TSA with the government shutdown?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not flying, all over the place, but I've had several flights and I haven't had any issues. I was worried too, especially the first couple of flights. I was like, oh man. But I've, flying out of here has been no problem. And I've flown out of Orlando and New York, which I thought for sure, but you weren't a problem at all.
Yeah, last week we flew in and out of Las Vegas and Washington, Spokane, and same thing. Like, in fact, here there was way less people. Like the whole TSA area was just empty.
Yeah,
like of passengers, and I think passengers maybe are scared to fly.
So it's just less people. Yeah,
and then the guy was telling me that they had that they lost like what did he say? Like 40 people a day or 50 people a day.
Wow.
I
did one of the first flights I took, and the guy was actually like being like, because it's not like majority TSA officers are like the most friendly people. Not to throw them
right,
but this guy was being like super cool, like and super friendly, like, and he's just taking our tickets. Like, oh man, this guy's awesome. And I go, dude, I hope you're not working for free. And he goes, I am. I go, damn, that sucks, man. And he go, well, I appreciate what you're doing because obviously if you weren't there, we couldn't be taking our flight. So that was a bummer for him. It made me feel bad for him for sure. I should have given him the $20.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I was just thinking,
Are
we gonna have to start tipping?
Give him the Sid. Give him the Sid.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
They're even have an iPad when you go through.
That's gonna be
to write your tip.
That's gonna be the inside the Iggy from now on. Is yeah, man. This guy valeted my car was super nice. I gave him the Sid Vicious.
Yeah. But you know what they're trying to do is send ice in.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought they were even already there, but like. So even when I first saw that, I thought like, oh, they're just going to do like the TSA's job for them.
But they're not trained.
But they're just there. So I'm like, well, how does that help anything then if it's not like? Because I'm just thinking like, oh, help! It's supposed
they're
to.
They're there in addition to the volunteers.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was supposed to be. But also, the vast majority of flights I've taken though have been later in the day. So I don't know if that's also a plus of why I haven't had any issues instead of like the first flights out. I don't know.
Oh man, it's just crazy.
Chat room, let me know. I'm watching that. That's the battery because I'm hoping it doesn't die, but it turns red first.
Yeah, that's what mine does too.
I think it's right beside the green one. It's black. So
Oh, gotcha.
when it turns red, I think I got 10 minutes or something.
We'll power through some of these super chats here. Maddie asks, you might have saw this one, Rob. RVD Sabu respond to being called old. So CM Punk, the storyline with Punk right now and Roman Reigns called him old. So and Punk is like he's embracing being old is the storyline right now, and he's going to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. So that's kind of like
he's embracing old, and the question is, what would me and Sabu do?
Yes.
Sabu would embrace it and say, "I am old," and I would say it's
whatever,
subjective. Yeah, if I'm older than you, then cool. To me, a bald or white-haired, old, crippled up 85-year-old man looks like an old man. So,
too. But also, obviously, like when you look at people, also there's two people out here. You look at like a Billy Gunn and I'll say Sting,
Right.
Sting as well, right?
Right.
To me, talk about their age is impressive as hell. Because as far as how great Billy Gunn looks and moves for his age, like I even talk about that too. Like I like saying my age as well because I'm like, dude, who else looks like me, moves like me, whatever at my age?
Nobody, Brian.
Exactly.
No.
Just like friends would come over when I was a little kid when I'm 10. And they're like, oh, it's my 21st birthday again. I go, bitch, you look old. Like, what are you talking about? You say it's your 51st birthday. What are you talking about? But and even Sting being in his 60s, and I go, dude, this guy and being around for so long, like he can still move so well, and he seems so youthful, and I feel like that's a positive. So I mean, just calling somebody old, that's like, I mean, I saw the problem, and people kind of like I saw them talking about how it's like, oh, you shouldn't say that about your opponent. Because if you get beat by the old guy, you got beat. Like I'm like,
that's true. Anytime you talk your opponent down, that's an old school rule. It's like if you talk shit about your opponent and make him sound like he's worthless, then who are you really beating?
Who you beating? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
But also like, but let's see, Punk. Everyone knows who CM Punk is. I mean, if it's some brand new person that's just getting a start in the business and he's 50-something years old, you call him old. It's like okay, well, whatever. But like, I don't know. To me, I don't think it does that much damage because it's stating like the obvious for it's just like if there's a big heavyset guy and you call him fat, well, everybody knows he's fat. So it's like I don't know. I don't feel like it's that creative or that damaging because I mean it's already there. So obviously CM Punk's not 20 years old.
If someone said, "Dude, you're kind of old," I would just be like, "I'm 55." Like, what is that what you want to know? Like, what? It's subjective, Like, so. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. So Sabu would own it, and I would say, if you say so, cool.
I always like it too when there's older athletes and they're like still doing what they're doing, and like I think that's a cool storyline in wrestling, and it's a cool story in sports, like when they do it actually in sports, like football or whatever.
I mean, just look at this modern day and age, whether it's wrestling, UFC, wherever. There's so many people still in their peak performance or in top positions way later in age than there was, however many years back. And I feel like that's more and more of a thing where people are able to prolong their athletic career now for sure, which is awesome. Because then you get more of these like dream matchups and dream, competitions. And I think it's great. So,
Brian, how cool was it for you to kind of be in Sting's first AEW match, basically? It
was awesome. Well, first of all, too, like I give him the first bump, power bombing him was awesome. I tried to think about it though, because I was also a little nervous because I could give him the most perfect power bomb ever, and if anything happened to him, it'd still be my fault, right? So I was like, it's kind of let's not think about that. But no, it was great. And then to the cinematic match we had too, I thought was phenomenal. In my opinion, again, I know it's subjective, it's my opinion because I'm gonna be biased. I thought it was the best cinematic match ever, mainly because it was actually cinematic. Like if you look at it, we have this whole big intro and their entrance and our entrance and like how it was shot in these different scenes and like the 360 camera and like so it looks like an actual like movie, not just a match filmed like with like a different camera, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was Sting's first match, Sting and Darby Allin versus myself and Ricky Starks in a cinematic match at AEW.
So, okay. How many cinematic matches did AEW do?
Well, because he kept on doing the Stampede one. So like that was like the first. Yeah. Okay. I mean, especially during the pandemic time.
Yeah, pandemic was big. Mm-hmm.
I've never seen one of those, even the WWE ones, like AJ and Undertaker did. Same kind of thing.
Like and just like the Matt Hardy compounds and stuff like that. So like those just kind of seem like matches filmed elsewhere. Where like our match is filmed like it's a movie. Like and
it's in the ring, not in the...
No, we still start in the ring and stuff like that. But like there's an intro like a movie, like and like the shots, like I said, like there's like a Matrix scene where it 360s around, and it's all post edit. And it has a soundtrack and stuff, so it's like a movie. Like, you know what I mean? So rather than just shot differently, it's filmed
different
like
sets.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely, tons. It's very cool. And like they did live commentary over it on the pay-per-view, but I have the file where there's no commentary, and it's so much better just because it feels more cinematic.
Where does one what?
Well, it's on my Dropbox. I don't have it.
It's not.
Oh, I mean, you can watch the cinematic. You can watch the one that aired on the pay-per-view with the commentary. I'm sure that's on YouTube. Yeah,
that's awesome. I bet it would be pretty cool without the commentary though. Like,
it's so much better. And the producers even said don't commentate over it. And Tony, I think it was. I mean, I assume it was Tony's call that he wanted it. But like, yeah, it's until I watched it without the commentary, I was like, oh wow, it is so much better. And I didn't even realize the score. Because there's a score throughout, like a whole movie, and it changes in different scenes and different aspects. Because we go through. I mean, there's probably like 13 different areas that we find out, we come through and they film and stuff. Wow, it's very cool.
Nice.
I also had to keep hitting Sting with the snow shovel. It's a real snow shovel, and I'm blasting him with it in the back. Yeah. And the boom guy, keeps having the mic in the way. And I'm like, oh, sorry, we got to do that again. And so, and I kill him again. Oh, we got to do that again. I kill him again. Oh, we got to do that again. And in my head, I go, man,
battery.
I'm feeling horrible. Like, I don't want to keep hitting Steve with the shovel, man. And then the last time I did it too, like, oh, cut, we got to film it again. He's still in the way. And he goes, oh, and I know it's hurting. And Steve like sells it. He turns around and goes, hey, what's your name? To the camera guy or boom guy. I think he said his name was Steve as well. And he goes, Steve. He goes, hey, Steve. Hey, do you want Brian Cage to hit you with a snow shovel to see how it feels real quick? And he goes, no. He goes, don't worry, I won't have it in the camera again. Yeah, that's the thing too. Even though we're filming it like a movie, everything we took was all legit. So it wasn't like we had fake props and stunt doubles and padded areas. And like, it was all, we were still taking all the moves, which also made it worse because you had to do it over and over and over again like a movie. And then also we had so many stop and starts. So you're not warmed up. It's overnight. We're 3 a.m. It was in this like warehouse that has all these broken glass, open windows. So it's like 40 degrees. I mean, it's funny because Sting actually wanted to do the cinematic match because he thought it'd be easier on his body. And then after that weekend of shooting, he literally said, my whole body feels terrible. I'm going to lay in the ice bath for 3 days. He goes, I'm never doing a cinematic match again. He goes, this is not what I thought it would be. So.
Have you done acting like movies or TV?
Yeah, I've done some, only minor stuff here and there. Like I have a small part in the Steven Spielberg movie coming out in June. I was on a couple episodes from Dusk Till Dawn through El Rey. I got my He-Man Fall of Grace School movie, which isn't great, but everyone loves it as far as the He-Man lore, which we did back in like 2014. But I'm actually in 2 weeks. I'm flying out to go film for a week to film the sequel of it. So everyone's really happy on that.
Nice. The Fall of Grace.
Yes. It's actually the trailer for number 2 is like because the production went up tremendously. Nice. It actually looks super legit. So I'm actually pretty excited about it. In Kentucky, of all places.
Nice. Who'd you play?
I'm He-Man.
Come on. I would cast you as He-Man. I just didn't want to assume because I was thinking.
That's actually even why. Someone already hit me up to do He-Man. That was shortly after I did, I think, one of the From Wrestle On episodes. But he was like, yeah, I was looking, for all these different actors. But then I started looking at wrestlers. He's a wrestling fan. He goes, because I was like, I feel like the only person that's going to have a physique that resembles He-Man is going to be maybe a pro wrestler. And I go, well, not all of them these days. I go, but yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm the physique guy, so that's how it worked out.
Cool, yeah. But I mean, you could be Beast Man.
Yeah, it could be. Too. That means this beard too is coming off here next week. That's for He-Man. It's funny because Melissa is excited for the beard to come off because she can't stand it now. So.
Yeah. I wonder, did you see John Hennigan's bald?
Yes. He had to look back.
Did he
looked good.
Yeah. See him all. So I was asking him too if he got a huge payday for that. He goes, "Oh, I'm not sure yet," because I remember I had a little tiny faux hawk. I had a little tiny faux hawk in Triple Mania when Del Rio shaved my head, and I got paid a sweet little bonus for shaving my head. And I go, I can grow those back in a week. John's got that's how his signature. He's got super long hair. I go, yo, I hope you got a good payday because that's unless he just was wanting to do it anyways. I don't know, but he doesn't look bad though.
Like R-Truth just wanted to get rid of his hair.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I feel like a lot of the times that's what happens. People just want to shave their heads to use as a match.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I know these out of that stipulation in my head. I go, I don't want to motel, so I want to get my head shaved. And they're like, oh yeah, that's the thing they do right there, right? They're like, hey, don't worry, we're gonna pay you a big sum for it. And I go, in my head, I go, I'm gonna shave my head for $100, but okay, whatever. I'll take the zeros, no problem.
Paul asked me one time. This was like 97-ish. And he was getting to know me, asking me different questions and stuff. And he was like, would you shave your head for a match? And I was like, yeah, if it was good enough payday. And he's like, what's a good payday? And I thought about it, and I said, $5,000. And he's like, I think you should ask for more. And I'm like, really? Well, I don't know. I said, why do you want to shave my head? He's like, no, I was just wondering. At the time, I don't know. I was probably getting somewhere between $300 and $600 a match.
Yeah, right.
So,
so $5,000 a go.
Yeah, right.
That's better than Psycho Sid tit for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd help out with that for sure.
Yeah.
When I first saw Killer Cross, I was always seeing him with the bald head and everything.
Yeah. Oh, he was on the India tour too. I was trying to think.
Oh, wow.
No, was it? Not the one we went.
Not the one we went on.
Yeah. Not the one we went on.
Yeah.
But then when he grew his hair out, I was like, "What the fuck? He's had that hair all the time." I was like,
I always thought it was bald too. You know, though, because I met him first as that. I still like the bald better than
Me
the hair.
too.
I still can't get it into the hair.
Rob likes the hair.
I love me like the hair.
It
But
took
I'm
me a
like,
minute to get used to it, and then
I still want the bald. I feel like it looks much more like a psycho with the bald.
true.
Yeah, and that's why he did it too. But I do like the bald better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always, just as a bald person, I'm always like, man, if I had a head of hair, I would never shave that shit off. But now
Because when I grew my hair out, everyone thought I had a mohawk beforehand. Because I've gone faux hawk and mohawk and faux hawk and mohawk, and everybody thought I had a mohawk because
What's a faux hawk?
So faux hawks where you have like the fade up into it, whereas a mohawk everything's just shaved bald and you just have the line.
Okay.
So it's like punk rock mohawk just down the middle, just to the fin, and then the faux hawk's like the fade up, and then like the short little hair that kind of Christmas trees and has like a little baby
The
hawk.
less
The
committed.
mohawk sounds way more dramatic.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely more loud and draws more attention. But yeah, so when I grew up my hair, I just stopped shaving and stopped cutting my hair. I was like, "What? You could grow hair the whole time?" I go, "Well, yeah, it's not a trick. It's just if I don't cut it, it's gonna grow."
I just have it. Rob, Maddie has a good RVDology for you here. RVDology. What would you tell your 40-year-old you in Bam Damn Bam Love Life? What would you tell your 40-year-old self, Rob?
That's 5 years before I met you.
But love/life? What does that mean? Wait.
I think love
Your love life.
and Van Damme Fam Love Life. I think he just, as he's
What
saying.
do you tell 40-year-old you? Wait. And
I'm thinking as far as like, hey, what would you tell your 40-year-old self about like what your future love and family is gonna be like? I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Open
let's
to
take it that way.
interpretation.
Let's take it that way. So when I'm 40, that was in I guess 2010, and right. So in 2010, everything professionally is cool. Like that's when I went to TNA and they were trying to run up against WWE and go live, and it was a cool hot thing that was happening. And of course, I always say I had a good deal there comparative to WWE's, except for way less work coming in for 2 days at a time every other day. But I mean every other week. I want to take Tito Ortiz's gimmick. Talk about that another time. But I was definitely very unhappily married at that point and had been for a long time. And it felt like, even though I felt like almost helpless to be able to do anything, I still felt like if I'm not home, for sure I can't do anything about it. So it was important for me to try to not be on the road and be home, to try to fix things where if we're going to have to cut it loose, then, at least I hope we do it now and not 10 years from now where it's just more of my life that I've given up and more money that I'm making that I'm going to split. And, I was way against getting the divorce. I didn't want to be a divorced guy, and I looked at the whole thing of if the marriage went south of being a failure. So what I would tell my 40-year-old self about my love life is, one, that's not love. The reason that you are...
Yes.
She needs a burp? Yeah.
The reason that, Brian gonna burp our baby.
Burp and Brian.
Burp and Brian.
Milk sounds like milk.
Thank you.
One, that is not love. It's like maybe a rebound crush that you're trying to make last because you like the idea of being able to commit, and you like the idea of being able to respect your own word and pledge. And that's not the right reasons to throw your whole life away to someone that doesn't deserve it. Let it go. And don't be closed off to future options and opportunities just because this one went south. It's easy when your heart is broke to not allow yourself to get hurt again, and that's a very common way to respond to getting hurt or getting screwed over or whatever. It takes a lot of guts. It's not always the right thing to do, but in a situation like this, when it comes to finding a partner, then yeah, you got to be open still to the idea that something else could work out. It's not necessarily going to be just like it was before. And I got to tell you, now I'd be able to tell my 40-year-old self that you're going to find a relationship with so much love that you're going to realize that this relationship right now that you're trying so hard to hold on to is really like something that you should have had in high school or something, because there's none of the good elements of our relationship. There's no trust. There's no respect. That we really were not a good match, and I couldn't see it at the time. And because I didn't want to fail, I let that get in the way of really opening my eyes. Been there?
Yeah, I the not want to fail thing. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I get that for sure.
But right now, it was so worth failing, and I'm so thankful. And so that's what I would tell my 40-year-old RVD. Like, it would be so worth it, dude, that you will be rewarded. You'll be rewarded for going through this bullshit right now.
Definitely learning through it all. And yeah, I know Maddie's been having that kind of situation going on. So yeah, just keep the chin up, Maddie, for sure on that one.
Deserve happiness, Maddie. If you're not happy and you're not with somebody that wants you to be happy, and you don't have the respect, and you don't have trust, and you don't have love, well, you can't. I mean, a lot of countries and populations do arranged marriages. It sure would be a lot of work to force it and make it work when you're not necessarily the right people. And it's proven you can make it work, but it just depends on, I guess, how important your life and your relationship is to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason Electric says this, Brian, to you. Brian, I couldn't believe they had you kill your Uncle Skeletor. I enjoyed watching you as He-Man. So.
Hey, except it's funny. I've gone to many places, especially Germany. Germany is a huge He-Man fan base for sure. And every time I've gone to Germany to wrestle, I always have people bring in Fall of Grayskull like little posters or memorabilia for me to sign from there. And I actually remember my very first. You guys have the He-Man right there?
Yeah, I just thought of this, dude. The original comic books from the fucking
what
game with the action figures.
Oh shoot!
This was a pre-cartoon, So when you got the action figures like way long ago, this was slidden in the package. Not the Star Wars one, was slidden in the package, and He-Man was like so much more violent, like a barbarian. It was like, in my mind, I compared it to Conan, the Savage Sword of Conan. It was so violent. Sure. And then when the thing came out, and I'm like, who's this Adam guy? Like, what the fuck? How's He-Man? What'd they do? Yeah.
Well, I know. So I've gotten a lot of praise from it because so the director and writer of the movie is a huge He-Man fan, and he actually even had like Hasbro make a figure that he created as well for some competition. But yeah, a lot of He-Man fans really like his movie. And this next one's gonna be awesome. It's really cool. The script and everything's really, really cool. Like I said, the production and value, everything is way better than what it was the first time.
That's awesome.
Oh, there you go. You got a burp.
Yay!
I love the Stratos, the Birdman.
Yeah, and I wish we had more villains too, because there's so many cool different villains. But obviously, that's going to cost more. But and it's funny. He does get a lot of guys to come be a part of it that have amazing cosplays at different power cons, which is great for him because then it saves him money on costumes and whatnot. And then these people are such big He-Man fans; they're stoked to be part of the movie.
This is valuable shit. Just in case you guys don't know about the true legacy of He-Man, it starts out with him leaving his village, like he's saying, "Bye, village."
It's funny. That looks more like Kazar from Marvel than it does He-Man.
And then on his pathway, he ends up getting attacked by animals and he's killing them and fucking, you know.
Well, yeah, well, they made the cartoon just to sell the figures too later after the fact. So
True.
I know a lot of people like. I've seen all the tags on Twitter for people think that I should have been He-Man instead of the actor they got, and that guy he looks fine enough. He doesn't look.
Should have.
The people to me just got more jacked because the actor they got for the new He-Man movie coming out he's not that jacked.
Oh,
But what's dumb about though is he's Prince Adam and He-Man. Like there's no difference, which that kind of defeats the purpose. But I don't know the full storyline of the movie, but like from the trailer, it looks like they send him away from home to save him, but then they go to Earth, which Earth shouldn't be part of it. But then they go to Earth to get him back for him to come save them, and I'm like, what is that kind of what? Well, wait, I don't know. That's just me guessing. That's what it came across to me.
Yeah, right.
Also, I just thought this is where someone gave this to me at a convention, but it is a figure that I already had, but it's in this case, and that's to protect it, and I believe it is Brian Myers and Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
So I think this is like one of their businesses that they can encase your figure. They might have graded it on there too or something. I don't know, but anyway, did this a while ago, and I just thought, you know what, I should put them over on the podcast for doing that. Gift received.
The Major Brothers. That was going to be when I was in Deep South Wrestling. I worked the Major Brothers tag match. My last match there was supposed to be against Matt Cardona when he was with Brett Major. I guess that was his name then. And then Deep South got shut down and got sent down to Florida Championship Wrestling.
How about that? Dang.
Yeah.
Brian, was there ever an itch to try to get into like some superhero movie auditions or anything like that?
Come on, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Marvel's just not taking anybody. You know what, too? And I got a lot of tags, and I even told my agent that too. The Helverine, which is Wolverine's son Dakin, not to nerd out you comic book wise, with the Spirit of Vengeance goes Ghost Rider.
What?
There's the first cover, the number one of that, because it's like half on fire, half his face. It is my face to a T with the sideburns. That had my old school sideburns, and he has a mohawk, and his face looks like Brian Cage. And I go, if that's not likeness of me, where someone's like drew the covers, like, oh, I'm a big Brian Cage fan, let me make this guy. I was like, yo, come on, can we do something here? I'm not trying to send this. I'm like, how can I be a part of this? How can I get on this?
When is that fairly new?
I think it came out now at this point, probably about 2 years ago.
The character?
Dakin's been around for a minute, but the Helper
character is half
the Ghost Rider version. Yeah, that's like 2 years ago. Yeah, and it was like a short. It was like it saved that way. It was like a what's the word I'm looking for? It was just like a short series situation.
Short run, like a short little run.
Series. Yeah, and Wolverine had a son already, but he wasn't half Ghost Rider.
Yeah, no. So yeah, this is his son Dakin, and then he gets. I have the comic too, and it's graded. I have the first four. But yeah, where he gets the Spirit of Vengeance. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's why it's called Helverine.
I'm back in.
I'm back in. Sign me up.
That does sound pretty cool, though.
Yeah, Brian. When they kind of reset like the X-Men and they got the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and stuff like that, I was like, oh man, Brian's got a shot now. Hopefully they.
I would have popped so hard if I could have been a variant in Deadpool Wolverine when he's going through all the different Wolverines and all the different. Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. Yeah. Like that's all something simple like that. Like everyone wants to be a movie star, right? I've always said I don't want to be a big crazy movie star. I just want a really sweet fight scene and then a really cool death scene in like a horror movie because I'm a huge horror fan. Like whether I'm a zombie eating somebody or getting eaten by a zombie, and then now with the Marvel stuff, if I could have some sort of small or even freaking Luke. I could have been Luke getting stabbed in the head by Wolverine. I mean, come on, that would pop me huge.
Dang, yeah, that was. Rob, did you hear they might be in development for a new Ghost Rider movie? Actually,
I have not heard that. No.
Yeah,
that second one was a pile of trash. I'll tell you what. Oh my goodness. Not like the first one was great, but that second one was really bad.
Was there just two?
Yeah, there's only two. Yeah. Well, and then he had some live appearances in the TV show, with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever.
Oh right.
Oh, yeah.
I heard rumor he's supposed to be in Endgame, or I don't know if he's in Endgame or if he's gonna, or not Endgame, excuse me, Dr.
Doomsday.
But I feel like if not, I feel like he'll probably more so be in Secret Wars.
I heard the rumor.
I only just like the Helverine thing. just like I'll come across one that looks cool, and I'll just read that like short little series, and that's it. Like I don't stay up with like the current storyline.
But you go to comic stores and look.
Yeah. I also look, and I can even also buy like an old one, or like I do like to buy the graphic novels now. So instead of buying all the old school Infinity War comics, I can just buy the the book of all of them, stuff like that, just for collectible stuff.
Yeah, I thought I kept all of mine, but I looked for them recently, and just like a lot of shit, it's missing. But I do have shit in a storage shed. I gotta go check in LA.
We have our neighbor across the street. I was just over his house looking at some stuff. He's got a bunch of cool collectibles, and he said he sold all of his comics. And he sold it for like a decent 6-figure price. Like just to let you know like how many I had, and, like the value of the ones I had. He goes, I got a lot for it. I'm like, wow, crazy.
Nice. Do you have a high price comic collectible, Brian?
Nothing crazy. Like the one that means the most to me because it was a gift too, and I thought it was so thoughtful. It's obviously not worth nearly as much as 181, but I have 180, which is Wolverine's actual first appearance, not his full first comic book appearance, but his first cameo on the very back of the page where he introduces who he is before he goes after Hulk. So that was cool. One of my really good friends got me that, so I love that comic. Outside of that, I have some decent ones, and I don't know the value of everything. Like sometimes I'll go to a card show and I'll see cards. I've actually always like been more of a card collectible guy than a comic book guy, but I'll see cards I have or comics I had that I'm like, whoa, that's worth that much. I didn't know that. I have that card. I have that card. I have that whatever. But yeah, cards and actually figures are what I like way more. But I don't know that I have any like high price valued stuff. No, like nothing that's like the high 4 or 5 digits or anything like that.
Yeah, I love collecting cards. I still kind of do that here and there too. Frankie Terrizzo has a question for you, Rob. Rob, do you know Bass Rutten? Can you get him on the show?
I don't know him well enough to get him on the show. I do know him, but
where does Boss even live?
Don't know that. I don't know that either. And I was just about to say, like, when I saw him a couple years ago, he was like sitting down. I came over and just like, I don't know, I put my hands on his shoulders or something. And he like looked up at me, and he gave me this look, like, who the fuck is doing that? And I looked at him, and I'm like, oh, you don't know me? And he was looking at me. I said, you don't know me? And he didn't know me. But I worked with him. We did a TV show forever ago. I think I was in ECW, but it was so long ago. It was 97 actually, and it was called 18 Wheels of Justice. We were in a gang, and Boss was our leader, and anyway, I worked with him on that TV show, and then see him here and there. Maybe he knows me now after that time, because I've seen him a couple of times since then. But I just remember that, I didn't. He didn't know who I was. So, but anyway, yeah, nothing but respect for Boss. I love his videos that he's been putting on YouTube, teaching different drills or techniques or
all the bar ones are great. All the old school bar ones.
Yeah.
Ka-jinga.
But I don't have his number. I really don't know what it would take to. I don't have that relationship with him either. Like to get him on the show, but never say never.
You never know. That's for sure. Super chat. Maddie asks this one: an invasion led by RVD in WWE 2026. Who's coming? Who you bringing with you, Rob?
All the old guys.
Well, who's alive?
All the old guys.
Who's alive? That's what's back to the someone calling you old. When one of my peers or anybody really, but when they say we're getting old, like I always say, thank God. It's better than the alternative. We lost so many friends along the way. I'm enjoying aging. Like I know I'm supposed to wish that I was younger, but I don't.
Yeah.
Do you, Dom? Do you wish you were younger?
No, I mean, no, because I still I'm 40, but I feel like I always feel like I'm 28 years old still. Like I don't.
Do you wish you were younger?
No. Yeah. Yes. Certain aspects. Sometimes I just wish like my left shoulder was younger, right, or like my left knee was younger. But as funny enough too you say this because I remember a couple of years ago, before, which led to me eventually wanting to have this right knee surgery that I elected to have. I was out skateboarding with Skylar, and it was killing my knee. My next day, my knee was destroyed. And I was like, man, I can't be too old to skateboard. That sucks. So anyways, when I've had these surgeries and recovering from, Skylar asked me multiple, that's my daughter for those who don't know, multiple times, like, can you skateboard again yet? Can you skateboard? I go, oh, no. It's still going to take a while. Like, this was like fresh after surgery. I just told her today, I said, you know what? I go, Daddy's going to skateboard this weekend. We're going to go skateboarding. Well, she'll go on a scooter. But actually, yes, I'm going to go ahead and we'll get the camera out there and see what flip tricks I can still do. But I'm actually looking forward to that. I go, all right, yeah. I did legs today. My knees felt great. And I go, I'm going to skateboard this weekend.
There's some knee pads and elbow pads.
No.
That's some stiff bumps, though, right?
I mean, I haven't taken in those bumps for a long time. But, yeah, I have holes in my elbows and my knees because of all those bumps. Like,
you don't even look like a skateboarder.
Well, and that's what's even crazier now. I mean, obviously, I was much smaller when I did all my skateboarding stuff. But yeah, that's the cool thing now. When we left, was AAA did the Madison Square Garden, and I remember we're walking back to the hotel, and there's this crew of skaters skating this stair and rail spot, and I had a tank top on. Damn, that was bumped. Look at this guy. Oh, and someone they're all freaking out. And so much skateboards there, and I jumped on it and I kicked up. They're like, what? Oh! And I started doing a bunch of trying to do tricks and that I could do before and whatnot. And they're all losing their minds. And actually, one guy started to become a big fan of mine and went to all the teenage shows and whatnot. He sent me a free deck and the trucks and stuff like that for his company to work for. And then I have a brand new birdhouse deck. I got the Bucks got a bunch of skateboards sent to them and skate stuff. So and it was funny too, because then to be able to go to the skate shop and then be able to afford whatever I wanted, because remember when I was a kid and I was broke, and the really good bearings or the really good wheels or trucks, I couldn't afford all that stuff. You had to get a budget.
You got your birds skateboards?
Birdhouse is what it's called. That's actually Tony Hawk's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool to go inside and go, you know what? I can buy whatever the hell I want. If I want the $50 freaking bearings, I can buy those. I don't have to settle for the $15.99 lucky bearings. I go, no. Even the ABAC 6s.
Yeah. That floor looks unforgivable though. Like when they drop in.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna go
clunk.
I'm not gonna go freaking on no bowls or half pipes or like that. I go, oh, I gotta hold on. I'm gonna do some flatland skating. I'm not going down any rails or anything or stairs. But yeah, I've taken a couple of derbies on that are not so forgiving. I luckily never rolled my ankle though, which I know several people. That's a big thing. You roll your ankle. And
yeah, I've done it.
I've done the popsicle. We get the board right in between the ass or right. That's not fun at all. I hold your baby to sleep now. I don't know if you can see. I have these little scars in between my knuckles. Like you can see that one pretty good, I guess. That one right there. But I have these scars between my knuckles, but still always joke that was my Wolverine claws. But it was actually I was trying to heel flip down the stair set, and I kept on almost landing, like skateboarding does. And I just lost it. I got so mad. And I grabbed my board and I slammed it on the ground, and the nose just exploded all the pieces of wood. So then I got mad now because I just fucked up my board. And I threw it up in the air and I went to punch it. And when I punched it, it was the grip tape side. So it just sliced all of my hand. I mean, my hand was bleeding like crazy. But now I have these Wolverine scars in between my knuckles. So
sounded like a good idea.
I'm living the gimmick. That's all.
You are. You got the cleft lip. Now you got some Wolverine scars.
Yeah,
you got
right now, but it healed. You see some Wolverine. So
yeah, that's it.
Off subject, but before I just don't want to not ask this before we wrap the show up. This is something that I find so hard to believe. I wouldn't believe it, except for I saw it with my own eyes on your Instagram. But you were already like an adult, and you had like a normal build, or maybe we're even like on the skinny side, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was definitely more like I was always like a fit person and very much into fitness. But yeah, I was never like everybody thinks I was just jacked all throughout high school like always. No, I was definitely not.
Like what age did you start getting mad?
So I flipped the script right after I graduated because I was 155 pounds. So when I got up to like 205 or so, I'm still not huge, but I was huge compared to the 155 where I started at. And then the picture you might be noticed, like a lot of people bring up this picture, is also from PWG, which was after a year of just the worst year of my life. I separated my shoulder real bad. I was injured. I was broke. I wasn't working out. I wasn't eating. I couldn't afford anything. It was definitely the lowest point of my life. But people bring up that picture because I'm still trying to wrestle, and then take a picture like a day after like winning a bodybuilding show and be like, oh, look at this overnight transformation. I go, first of all, I was already built much better than that before that. Then I had a big falling down, and then slowly came back up. But I mean, it took me a good while over like roughly like my first 10 years of like wrestling to get that point that was at, and then I had the injury, and then I freaking coming back when I said I always wanted to get bigger and better. I always wanted to do a bodybuilding show, and then after that injury was what actually led me to doing my first bodybuilding show, just to kind of make me try. Because I used to talk like, oh, maybe I'll do one, It's like, no, I'm gonna do it. So now I have to get in shape enough for it, just to set a goal of mine.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, in order to consider doing a bodybuilding show, you already have to fucking be like super jacked. Like,
well, and I not say I just wasn't super jacked, but I was jacked. But now this is me. Even the person who was prepping me, he didn't realize how jacked I would get because I was coming back off the injury. So I had all this like, I knew where I was at beforehand, but obviously now I have all this, atrophy for lack of a better term. But I knew my muscle memory would come back and I had to get better shape. And then then they just kept on building up.
But for like 10 years, you're wrestling and you're fit and you're working out and stuff, but you're not a monster that stands out as being jacked.
And I never even thought that I would get to the size. And it was really when I started going more heavily into the bodybuilding training too that kept leading me down that. And I actually feel like that's why my athleticism, my movements, everything else is why I have it. It was because I was already wrestling and doing all that stuff while I was gradually putting on the size over that time. Like
right.
if I just started at this weight and I was always this weight and this size, I don't know that it would have, if it would have transferred the same.
So you think that education and effort is like most of what?
Well, I mean that, and then you throw in the C word, consistency. Consistency is the key, just like with stretching. So I mean, like that's
effort.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
But I mean, do you think? So here's a question behind the question: do you think that anybody, if they followed the same consistency and had put in as much effort and knew as much about you and were as committed, do you think that regardless of somebody's body shape, even if they're 27 years old, do you think they could look jacked like you?
So doesn't mean necessarily would look like me, but I guarantee you would look the best version of you. Absolutely. Yeah. Like if people don't even realize, like, I mean, you guys notice I have a meal out there on the table waiting for me. Like I prep my food 24/7. I bring it with me everywhere on the road. I have I'm not prepping for a show or doing anything, but that's just my lifestyle 24/7 now. Like I just said, all my free time goes to like therapy or training. I'm always freaking planning out my meals, what I'm gonna eat, what I have to do, unless I'm gonna go eat something free, whatever. But I mean, that's just what it is. And you don't have to be that dedicated to it, but that's just my lifestyle now. If I stopped wrestling today, I would still do all that just because I enjoy it too. But like, yes, if you did everything and follow it to a T, doesn't mean you would exactly look like me. But yes, you would definitely look like the best version of yourself. And I tell everybody else who want to do seminars, like I think at the end of the day, you should still look like a professional athlete. That doesn't mean you should look like me. It doesn't mean you have to be some big bodybuilder looking guy. But you should look in shape. You should look the part. You should act the part. You should be the part. And I said, you can't control anything in wrestling. Can't control if you're booked. Can't control if you're getting over. Can't control if you're signed. Lots of you can't control. The only thing you have complete control of is how you look. And to me, I feel it's not easy, but I feel like that's the easiest part out of everything in wrestling. And I'll just say, hey, a lot more guys like Lex Luger get signed than than Kevin Steen's, for instance. And Kevin Steen's way better. But I don't know. I've never heard anybody not getting a job because they look too good. So I mean, and that's the easiest thing easiest thing to do, and the thing you have full complete control of. I don't know why so many people lack that part.
How big of a part do genetics play?
Oh, tremendous. I mean, obviously, there's some people that look phenomenal. They don't do shit. They just look great. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's different forms of genetics too. There's genetics as far as you look great just without having to do anything. There's genetics as far as you respond really well and develop really well from it. There's genetics where you're gonna be freaking slower or heavier or this and that. So there obviously that plays a huge role as far as where you can get in game wise. But if you do everything like that I'm doing or like you should supposed to do it, so to speak, to put it like that, like I said, at the end of the day, you're gonna look better than you've ever looked for sure. Like a guy I've been prepping, not prepping, but just helping a friend of mine in Chicago. He was 350, 60, 70, 80 pounds, whatever, high 300s. And right now he's 250. And he's an average guy. He's not trying to do anything, but he doesn't look like a bodybuilder, but he's the best he ever looked, and he feels great. He feels stronger, and I mean, it's just consistency and adaptability to just following it. And everyone wants to do these quick fix, like 3-month, 90-day, whatever plans. But realistically, it's more of just like a lifestyle change rather than a temporary fix, So
you said before that people like wish they looked like Brian Cage, but then if they did look like Brian Cage, they lose it because they would never know the science on how to keep it.
Yeah, of course, it's got to be every like an all day long fucking.
Yeah, and then exactly, even if you did everything to look like me, that you have to keep it going. It's just like you reach that and you get stopped and it just maintains.
Right,
so.
that was the point. One more question for me about that: how many grams of protein do you get in a day?
And I only count essential protein, so I don't count protein from anything that's not complete animal protein.
Oh.
But I usually get at least 300.
Wow. How much do you do, Rob?
Same. Yeah, 250 to 300.
250. Okay.
No.
That's
You
right.
count whey protein?
Yeah, whey protein
Shake.
counts. And I only do 1 shake a day. I only do post-workout shakes. I'm still in the bro science with that. I just love it. Everybody says it's bonked, the anabolic window, getting a protein shake in 30 minutes after you work out. But I've done it my whole life, and I enjoy it, and I like it. So it's not broke, don't fix it. I actually eat less now than I've ever eaten, and I've been able to maintain. There is that too. There's like this unwritten rule that it's twice as much to gain everything wise, and half as much to maintain. And I definitely feel like it's easier for me to maintain my size. I'm not trying to necessarily get any bigger, but I feel like it's definitely easier to maintain it now at this part of my life than it is to try to gain.
Yeah, right. And like you make your adjustments as you grow older, and like your body adapts, or what you have to adjust for your body too.
Sure, for sure.
Yeah. Pow Zoef Zadif, thanks for $2. He asks you, Rob, do you remember the WWF magazine with Sid on the cover?
That's not very. I'm sure he was on more than one cover.
Yeah, he's probably been on a couple, I'd
The
imagine.
first one I think of is WrestleMania 13. It's Undertaker and Sid looking at each other as well.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good one.
I can't say that I have the same one in mind that you do. I can't picture, but maybe like he said, I think I've seen him on there a few times. That was probably during this time when he was getting doing his run, building up to wrestle Hulk Hogan.
And I'm sure he was on the cover when he beat Shawn after beat Shawn for the title.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
And he had Bruno with him, and that might have been also why he was so cool to me, Downtown Bruno.
Yeah.
Because I knew him from Memphis, and he introduced us to Sid before the match and shit. So, it helped to have that in with him.
That he'd be a good person to induct Sid for the Hall of Fame, Bruno.
That's the biggest downfall of it too. I hate that he's getting inducted after he's already passed away.
I know
Sometimes I feel like people get inducted because they pass away, which sucks too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if he was still alive, would he be inducted right now? Like it makes you just question that, which sucks.
I know. Would he have got that nod if he was still around? That's the question.
I think he would have eventually, definitely.
No, for sure.
deserves
He deserves to be there. But like, I feel like when someone passes, they kind of like hot shots him in there because of that. And I'm like, it sucks that had to happen to have that happen.
Yeah,
Right.
And I'm hoping Sabu might get a nod someday posthumously.
He definitely deserves it.
I mean, he'd do interviews and say, well, it's not even real. Why do I want to? It's in Vince's mind. You can't go and visit it. Why do I want to be in something that isn't real? But that's all just, it's easy to say when you're not in it. But if you were really, if you were really nominated, he would.
Well,
he'd
it's just
be
like
honored.
It's just like when people. I remember I had this one friend that asked me, like, they saw someone win the world title. I don't remember what match it was. If it was Eddie Guerrero winning
What match
or
was
whatever. But something that where they're talking about like how meaningful it was to them. And she's like, I don't get it. If you know you're going to win, why is it that meaningful? I'm like, because it's just to explain that. Like, if you don't know, like, when you're a wrestler, like, winning the world title, how much that really means. So, to connect that, like, same thing with the Hall of Fame. Like, oh, it's unreal. Why do you even care about it? But, like, you still would want to be there. And it gives you that nod, like, okay, hey, what I did mattered. And it's remembered.
Yeah, validation. It gives you validation for what you've been working. Yeah. And, like, plus it's WWE. WWE is the premier wrestling company everybody thinks of. And if you get put in their Hall of Fame, it means something. Like it's sure. Like, Jim the Don, he was actually at when you got hurt, Cage. He said, Cage, I was bummed seeing you go down in LA. Definitely one of my favorite wrestlers. Can't wait to see you again. RVDology on gratitude. RVD, the GOAT, coolest dude. So shout out to Jim the Don. He'll be around for Vegas, I know for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that, Jim. Too, it's funny because if he was there, everyone started clapping for me. Like to kind of get me up to like walk off the field. just like somebody's injured, they get to walk out. And it wasn't like I laid there, not because, I mean, it hurt. I was definitely in pain, but it wasn't because like I couldn't get up. It's I didn't want to get up. I was thinking about doing the Chris Bay Memorial Show with Ricochet and Rich Swann. I was thinking about that World Series of Wrestling, the best tour I put over earlier. I was having my farewell tour there. I had a match at the pay-per-view AEW. I was thinking of all the stuff that I wasn't going to do, and I just laid there defeated. I remember everybody's asking me, like, do you need help up? They go, no, just leave me here. Just leave me here. Like, I don't want to get up. Just let me fucking just wallow in my misery right now, and let me just be depressed and just leave me alone. Because let's say my wife was there, like, oh, I go, just leave me alone. Just let me sit here. I don't want to. I'm done. Tell me when to leave. I don't want to do shit. Like, just lay here for a minute, and then I'll eventually get up when I'm over it, and let me have my moment to freaking be a baby about some stuff, and then I'll get up and we'll move on.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
And for me, it was when I went back to Philly to represent being the world champion and dropped the title on the way, and then had to lose to Big Show in front of Philly at an ECW show. And after the match, it was just such a negative boo, and everyone throwing their cups and shit into the ring. And I just felt like I rolled down to the floor and rolled under the ring. And I was like, just leave me here. Like, I belong here. Yeah.
It is feeling. We're just like, oh, like
shittiest. Yeah. Yeah. All right, dude, it's been like an 8-hour show.
I know it has. It has.
Hey, I'm a machine, I just go all day long.
For real.
We got these
Van Wolvenator. Someone said
the Van Swolvenators.
Oh, I like that. We got the two questions here real quick then. Devin Dowling, he's got Brian. Do you still talk to Ricky? I'd imagine he's meaning Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks? I do not.
What about Ricky Martin?
Ricky Martin? He's a big fan of mine, yeah.
Ricky Steamboat?
No.
Ricky Santana?
No.
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin. Melissa probably wishes I did.
All right. Ricky Steiner.
Oh, good one.
Thanks.
We're not out of Ricky's. We're not done with Ricky's.
We're not done with Ricky's yet. We got more. And then finally, Triple E asked this one.
No, it's a funny name.
Yeah, that's a cartoon I watched as a kid, Ricky Tikki Tavi. He was a mongoose, and he would eat cobras. He'd kill them.
Yeah. Triple E asks, have you all been to Jay and Silent Bob's comic book store? That's in Red Bank, New Jersey, I think.
I have not. I was just in Jersey, too.
I've been to the one in Westwood, LA, California.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Long time ago. I don't know if it's still there, but yeah, I have.
I was at.
They weren't there that day, by the way. In case you wonder.
They weren't there.
Yeah.
They were outside.
They weren't.
I've been to it. I actually did a little pilot for the comic book men's store. I was a part of that thing. So I was at
Which one, New Jersey or Westwood? Or
New Jersey, the Red Bank, New Jersey one.
Oh, okay.
So.
Righty.
Cool. All right. Man, this has been a blast. How about that?
Yeah.
Covered a lot of good ground. Good to see you both. And Brian, you're a pro at holding the babies. I tell you what.
Yeah, I know.
Burped her and then she went to sleep. No problem.
The baby
That's
was
it.
We found a new babysitter.
Yes.
You did, right?
Right. I just realized Melissa's name was on the screen the whole time. Yeah, she was supposed to be here, but she's actually working at the church with a bunch of babies right now.
Really?
Yeah. She works every now and then when they need help, and she likes to do it because she wants to be more involved with the church, and she gets to be around all the kids. But she's definitely
What a good woman.
Yeah, she's been great, and she's definitely a little jelly that I've been over here being the babies because she really wanted to. But
Well, that'd be cool. We'll have to get her on here at some point then too.
for sure.
Cool. Words of wisdom to remember for next week. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Impulsive people don't consider the consequences of their actions.
Hey, look at that.
Ooh, yes, that's true.
People sometimes think, where's your spontaneity? You're so boring. For me and my perspective, I am not impulsive. I am someone that considers the consequences. And that's exactly, by definition, what you're not doing when you're impulsive. So for me, it's not a good thing. Is it exciting? Yeah, in the way that playing in traffic is exciting.
Ooh, good too.
There
He
you
has
go.
to read the whole menu at any restaurant, even if we've been there before, even if it's Chick-fil-A. He has to read the whole
Well,
thing.
in
to know
fairness,
to make the right decision.
If I know what I'm ordering, I've already made an order. I still like to read through the menu afterwards, anyways, just for fun. just so that if I care on what I really want to eat, but I'm not going to eat. Like, oh, look at this.
I could eat that, but I won't. But I won't eat that.
Cool,
Seth-
man. Appreciate it, Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Seth dropped a quick $20 here. He said he wanted. He's the guy that does our theme music too, Brian. Seth
Yeah.
does. He said,
Who's that? That was
Seth, he does the song.
Smooth Vega?
Yep.
The Jamaican.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
reggae.
He made
The
this
reggae
banger theme music. I can't wait to come
Banger
back.
theme. Banger.
It's good. It's good stuff.
He was just checking in, seeing how you're doing. If you're feeling better from your injury.
Oh yeah. I feel great. I feel great. I'm looking even better. How about that?
Heck yeah, there you go. Yeah. It'll be exciting to see you back in the mix too, Brian. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Cool. Well, this has been awesome, and can't wait to see everybody next week too when we do this. But Rob, thanks for doing this.
Glad
Good to
be
see
safe.
everybody. Yeah.
Love you, Van Dam fam. Peace out, hoes.
Peace up. 8 Town down. We'll see you next week here on One of a Kind with RVD. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Katie.
Hey,
Thanks,
guys.
Sabo.
Yeah.
Yeah.